And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Or as Frosty would say, happy birthday.
Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah.
That's my older brother's favorite character of all time. And it's probably not even close. Isn't that interesting?
I kind of understand why Cookie Monster is where it's at. In your pantheon of,
No. Cookie Monster is way better than Frosty the Snowman.
I completely agree, but now I'm understanding where it's like,
what are you insinuating?
I'm saying your brother's nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a childhood thing. Cookie Monster for me, I still respect Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
How are we on a Cookie Monster?
I'm sorry.
2 seconds into this.
Sorry.
I still respect Cookie Monster more, the same, if not more, than I did as a child. As I've grown up.
It's fine.
I think for my brother, and I don't want to speak for him, but I'm going to. It was a childhood thing that he has kept. Sure. It's like a nostalgic piece, which is probably why.
Yeah.
It's probably either Frosty the Snowman or like Jason Bourne or something. He loves those movies.
Those are very different.
Are they though?
Yes.
They're a story about revenge.
Okay.
Right? Frosty, revenge against the sun. Jason Bourne, revenge against Treadstone.
Now, see, if you were going to say they're both about reclaiming something.
Frosty
in his hat and Jason Bourne in his memories, then I could get behind you. But I'm with you, buddy.
That was good. That was better than me. It was off the top. Sometimes the top, you gotta try.
Yeah, like a top hat that made Frosty come back. You know, you can, again, happy birthday, by the way. It's your birthday.
Thanks.
You can divide people up into like what Christmas character they like. Chelsea was telling me about this. Where it's like, are you a snowman type person? Are you a Santa type person? Are you like a reindeer type person? Or
what are you?
Snowman.
What are the options again? Because I don't want to pick any of those.
Neither do I. I don't know. But
can I pick the abominable snowman from the stop action?
I think that goes under snowman.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not a snowman.
It's right there in the title, though.
You know what I don't like about the snowman? The carrot nose. I could never get past that.
Yeah.
It's just...
Does Frosty have a carrot nose?
Great question.
I don't think he does.
Scanning the database. I don't think he does either.
I think it's some coal. I think when you're looking at the carrot nose...
Or it's so he has buttons for the buttons and then coal? Or is it coal all the way up?
With a something silk hat and a button nose.
Yeah, button nose. Yeah. Oh, the song tells us.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the song tells us.
I feel like a carrot is like long pointed noses. We are conditioned as children to say those are evil.
Yes, exactly. Witches, alligators.
I was going to go wicked witches, but alligators.
I said witches first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Yeah.
Well, you went wicked witches, so.
Yeah.
I guess witches can be good. I mean, that movie just came out.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Shoot, why can't I remember the title?
Harry Potter.
No, it's from Wizard of Oz. It's the
it.
Wizard of Oz spinoff, though.
You said it like 3 times.
I did?
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wicked.
There you go.
Yeah. I was going to say Defying Gravity, but that's the song.
Wicked, Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
So it's your birthday. How do you feel?
I feel good. So I was telling you before we started that I feel old.
Yeah.
Or that I am old, which I am. But I don't feel old because we won our flag football game. So I actually feel very youthful today.
That's awesome.
For context, we last season won 0 games. Okay. And then if you want to go back even further to our baseball team, which is also the Frogmen, we also won 0 games. So we were pretty much like 0-30 for a stretch of games.
And this was your first game of the new season.
This is our first game of the new season we won. And it was...
You have a perfect record
euphoric.
Right now. That's awesome.
We have a perfect record. Even the owner of the league was like, dude, I saw you guys won. He was like so happy for us.
So what's different? Like you put in you got...
We did practice. We have been practicing a little bit. And I think, I don't know. I think, there's a couple factors. I think we practiced. I think having the experience of playing last season actually really helps.
Okay.
I think we were playing a team that it was their first season. So like getting used to like the flag football rules and stuff, it takes a little bit to get adjusted, I think. So
you were playing the newbies.
Yeah, but they were so try hard. Oh my God. Like it was so cringe. First of all, they brought their own flags. They had matching flags. They brought their own. They bought their own.
Is that bad?
It's try hard.
Oh, you're not supposed to do that?
You can, I get. I've never seen a team do that. We just use the ones they provided. Why would we buy our own flags?
I don't know. I just assumed you all bought your own flags.
No.
Okay.
They have flags. They have
cool
balls and everything. I mean, we bought our own ball, but so they brought their own flags. They have their own uniforms that they bought, and then they have.
Do you guys have uniforms?
No.
Okay.
Dude, we're the frogmen, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, some of us use our baseball uniforms.
Okay.
Because we do need uniforms for that league, because that's more of a.
Yeah.
I don't want to say more structured, but I don't know.
Well, continue.
Anyways,
yeah.
So they had their own, like, do you know the quarterback, like, wrist playbooks?
Yeah.
All of them had that.
Interesting.
It was crazy. It was, like, insane. And then they lost, which is amazing.
Just crushed them. That's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't crush them. It was close. We would have crushed them. David got hurt, our quarterback.
Okay.
He broke his finger.
Jeez, man.
So that's 2 down.
Yeah, that's not great.
And then John came in and played quarterback.
Okay.
Won us the game, dude.
That's awesome.
I know. He's feeling...
little Roethlisberger action.
He's feeling great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a better person than Roethlisberger.
Tommy Maddox? He also came in.
Did Tom? Yeah, I feel like every great quarterback. I would say maybe Tom Brady.
Yeah.
David was Drew Bledsoe, and hopefully John's Tom Brady, bro. That'd be nice.
Sure.
We'd win a lot of championships.
Yeah.
Anyways, so feeling good after that. And then we'll see. I think it'll be fun tonight. All my friends are going to come to the symphony with me, which is great. I don't think anyone understands what they've gotten themselves into.
I don't care. It's something you wanted to do.
It's
your birthday.
I don't care if nobody comes, though. I was going to go by myself if I have to.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the secret. You got to say, hey, for my birthday, this is what I want to do. And I know Nate's listening. So whenever we're going to
I said, it's my birthday.
Course.
This is what I am doing.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come.
I felt like you wanted company.
No. I will enjoy the symphony.
Well, then we'll just stay at
just
the casino.
as good.
All right, that's fine.
Well, I bought the tickets, so
yeah, I paid you for the tickets. So as far as I'm concerned,
you're square.
Yeah. Oh, no one else paid you for the tickets yet?
John's going. I mean, everyone's going to, but
sure.
You're so far the only one.
I hate the whole like debt thing.
Yeah.
I just
and you got me hooked on Apple Pay, so we're like quick on that now.
Yeah.
You've infected me.
Whenever I realized I had money on my Apple Pay, and then I was like, wait a minute, it's John. I can do this. Yeah, it was nice.
I always have like a couple $100 on my Apple Pay just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. It's like a little emergency pocket.
I have to stock up some cash on Venmo because I lost a bet with Chelsea.
Ooh.
And now I owe her Starbucks for the year.
Jeez, dude, that's like $1,000 loss.
Well, she goes like constantly, sure, but. She's been good.
She
so
does.
Yeah,
it's like a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, I forget what we originally said, but it's not like you're going.
You can't go every day. Yeah,
like, you could go every day, but also like, I don't know. You probably shouldn't.
Why?
She drinks like the crazy caramel. It's just not good for your body to do that.
I just do like black coffee.
So do I, and it's terrible.
It's not bad. It's just like $5.
Yeah. Well, it's expensive and it just doesn't taste nearly as good.
I think it's fine. I'm not a coffee connoisseur though, so
neither am I. But I just
you're more than me. You have like the fancy stuff now.
We need
Justin, like that was great.
Yeah,
when he made us coffee.
Yep,
your cousin.
I want him to try that. Of course, here's the thing: is like I'm also brewing it in like this pot that like I just want to throw that away.
Yeah,
and start over on like brewing it like. To get a French press or something. I don't know. Like do something.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. So we were talking before the show about Succession.
Severance.
Oh, Severance.
Succession is also a great show. Completely different.
But wasn't that a business one too?
Succession is, a big family company and who succeeds the head honcho.
Like the titles kind of tell you what the show's about a little bit. That's a little smart.
Severance is... people
a package when you get
go down an elevator, lose their memories, work all the time,
come back up. So he was explaining the premise to me, and then I was like, oh, that's like Plato's cave allegory.
Yeah.
And then he's like, who's Plato, dude? I was like, have you never played with Plato?
I play with Plato all the time.
He's like, no, I only ate it like a normal person. And then I was like, that explains a lot.
This seems like not what we talked about.
All right, this didn't happen. But the philosopher Plato,
with a T.
Yeah. Am I pronouncing that right? I've always heard it that way, so I don't know.
Yeah, Plato.
Yeah.
Plato versus Playdough.
Playdough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm going to butcher this, but I want the audience with me here while I butcher it. So I was like, let's put a pin in this, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast. So the cave allegory is there's a guy chained up in a cave, and then there's like another guy who comes in, I guess, who does like shadow puppets on the wall. Now, this is this guy's whole existence, is this shadow puppet thing in this cave.
The guy chained or the guy doing
guy
the puppets?
Chained.
Okay.
So he doesn't know anything else outside of that, like, perspective. I guess the whole thing's about perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, your world is only what you perceive it to be. Mm-hmm. Gonna butcher this whole thing. So pretty much eventually, I think he, like, escapes or something. So he's able to, instead of this, like, two-dimensional plane of these shadow puppets, he's able to see the cave. And it's like a three-dimensional thing. And he explores the cave. And then, like, there's an even further depth when he realizes there's an outdoors. But I think what happens is, like, he sees the outdoors and he's so scared he goes back into the cave just to stare at the puppets or something. Like, he doesn't even need the chains because it's like... So the reason I bring that up is because it's kind of the same idea. You were saying, when they put the chip in and the person, it's kind of like a second person is just working nonstop from their perspective. Like, they wake up and they're working. Yep. And then... they don't remember anything else, and then they're working again. They're coming out of the elevator.
Like, they don't even go to sleep. It's literally like the elevator doors close, and then they open again, and then they just, the time
from their perspective, all they do is work. And I'm like, well, that really sucks. And then you were like, well, not really. That's all they know. And then it made me think of that thing. Yeah. Because, like, if that's all you know, it's like a safety. It's like, you kind of latch on to that.
The number one thing that they want to know about is the sky, to give context to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me know in the comments how horribly I messed up the cave thing.
Do you think Plato or Playdough smells better?
Playdough.
I think so too, yeah.
Although, was Plato Greek?
I don't know.
Or Roman? Because the Romans, they bathed quite a bit.
Yeah.
They had like the public bathhouses.
I would say, would it be Roman?
Was he? I think it was before that. Plato was one of the first.
Yeah, but who was
Greek? He's Greek.
Greek?
Yeah. It's 428 to 347 BC.
Where's Homer in that?
What?
Homer.
Is he
Greek?
Yeah, I think so. Socrates is Greek.
Sure, but like what I'm saying is, like, so where does Homer fall in that? Like, are they pals, or are they like separated by some years?
Yeah, I'm looking for the years. He's a poet.
That was a big thing on Hades too.
Homer?
Spoiler. The guy,
really?
The guy talking over everything.
Yeah,
that's Homer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's a poet.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
The main character calls him out, and she's like, "Okay, Homer."
Oh, they were buddies. Maybe not actually. Homer's epic poems shaped aspects of ancient Greek culture, education, fostering ideals of heroism, glory, and honor. To Plato, Homer was simply the one who has taught Greece. Okay, maybe not. Maybe he just respected him. Hold on.
Right. That's what I mean. So Homer came first.
8th century? Yeah, Homer came first, but was he alive at the same time? Were they like, dude, I love that
8th century
Odyssey, man? And you're just like, yeah, it was pretty fucking dope. Plato.
That Iliad, man. Yeah.
Dude, do you ever think, like, culture back, like, are we romanticizing what culture was like back then with all these amazing thinkers? Or
probably.
Yeah, right? Because, like, if someone was to look back on our time, but only at the best minds, they probably would feel the same way. Like, wow, look how smart these people are. Or is the average intelligence just higher across the board, so it's harder to distinguish oneself as a
I don't look at it
genius.
As much as like intelligent. Like I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
it's some type of intelligence. Greatness. Yeah. Let's say greatness.
So okay. So I was thinking about it in terms of just like their life, but yeah. So you're just talking like.
Well, I guess the reason I say this is like you have all these philosophers in ancient Greece who are just like pondering the meaning of existence.
Yeah.
And it's like this really deep thought, right? Yeah. And then today we have like TikTok dances.
Yeah.
Pondering nothing.
Uh-huh.
So it's like,
yeah.
You see the dichotomy?
Well, you would have to do apples to apples.
But again, you're cherry picking. Yeah. So I'm taking the smartest people.
Yeah.
But like people who are interested in that.
The TikTok dances are going to be like the equivalent of like a jester or something, right? Like people make TikToks to get a laugh out of
Yeah, but the jester
audience.
was never the most popular person in the court.
Yeah.
Although I don't even know if Greece had jesters.
No, but what I'm saying is
structure.
like the equivalent of like, you look at TikTok, I equate that to like someone on the street doing a puppet show. Like, you know, all those old timey movies and then you have somebody like doing like a puppet show for the kids or whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not. But the reaction it gets is vastly different.
Sure.
So the guy doing the puppet show is like
technology,
a couple people. Yeah. But the TikToks is like that. Those are the most popular things. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like proportionally.
What's your thesis? That people are just generally
either
more dumb
society's
now?
dying.
Yeah. Okay.
Or society is similar. We're just romanticizing older times. Because we're only cherry picking like the greatest instances of those periods of time.
I think it's the latter. I'm not saying society isn't obviously much different than it was back then, but I think you're always going to have the people that are like the thinkers, and you have the people that are like the common folk.
Yeah,
and you have the people that are because I'm sure you're going to have like kind of folk heroes that are not like good thinkers per se.
Like who? Like Babe Ruth.
Sure.
He's a folk hero, bro.
We're jumping all over the timelines, but yes.
That's more modern than Greece.
Like sports, sports people are fine. I don't think some sports guys have like photographic memories and stuff, but like
Bobby Fischer.
I don't know. Someone
you know Bobby Fischer?
I was watching. Is he a player right now?
He was a chess player.
Oh, no, I'm talking like there's a football player who has a photographic memory.
Oh.
Where they were.
Oh, who?
I don't know. I don't know names.
Tom Brady?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
No, Tom Brady probably gets a little ear thing in his head. Just tells him what
he has a chip in his head where he goes to work.
Yeah. I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, I think, in the next 200 years, we're going to look and say like, oh, here are all the thinkers of it's easy to be like, here's your big tech billionaires of.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't know, like, is that going to be as respected? Like, I don't know. We think back to the Greek philosophers, right? There's such a reverence for them. We think back to the Renaissance and the great artists and thinkers, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Donatello, all the great turtles of the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do that in 200 years. There'll be
but who?
Artificial intelligence.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
And that's about it.
I don't know. It's just like if I were to think, it's impossible because we're in it right now, but it's like, well, who are the great minds of today? And are they going to be respected the same? It feels like there's a lot of, for every great person per se, there's a lot of people that don't think that person's great, you know?
Yeah.
There's no universal greatness, maybe.
Sure.
So maybe it needs time to let kind of filter that out to get the true thoughts of the people.
Yes.
The true ethos.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you don't know what I'm saying?
I think I'm following you. I feel like in your old age, you're getting very philosophical, which is good. It's not a bad thing.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Don't you think we're in very divisive times right now where it's like,
yes.
Name a person, like half the people hate that person, right?
Yeah.
Like name an important quote unquote figure.
Correct.
Maybe not like Tyler.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of people hate you.
I would say it's 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
Like hate?
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who hates you.
So I was recently shown my astrological signs and different things like that. And apparently the way I'm perceived is either people like me or they really don't like me. So that was fun.
I think that's completely inaccurate. I think that's more accurate for me.
You fall on the camp of liking me, so that's great. Thanks.
No, I think I'm a divisive person. I think people like me or hate me. I think that sums me up a lot more than you.
Maybe we have the same astrological sign.
No, we don't, because we're not born in the same era.
It's different. What
do you mean?
I've come to learn there's like 3 different things or 4 different things, or I'm butchering it, but yeah.
Not as bad as my cave allegory.
It's worse than your cave allegory, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't either.
I don't know.
All I know is that people think the past is better than the present, and I'm just not sure about that.
I don't believe that per se.
I feel like we've argued about this before, where you're like, we've
changed
not,
perspectives.
No. I still firmly believe this is the greatest time to be alive. Not even close.
Okay. Yeah.
But is this the greatest time for humanity? I don't know.
I don't think you could have one without the other.
Absolutely you can. As an individual, this is the best time to be alive. I'm the safest. I'm the most prosperous. Mm-hmm. I have the most options. But in terms of humanity, it's like, well, is it actually good?
Feel good?
Yeah. Is it good? Is like we're in a very feel good entertainment kind of society right now. Is that actually what's best for?
I think it's all perspective.
Is it best for humanity if we're being pushed or striving for? I mean, we're still always striving for stuff, but I don't know.
We don't know any better, right? Like, what makes you most fulfilled? I guess is what you're looking for. Fulfillment.
Probably cake.
Yeah.
Well, probably chocolate.
It's your birthday.
Mousse
Now's
cake.
the time to do it.
I've been so good on my diet though that I was dreading this day.
Why are we dreading this day?
Because it's like my birthday. I always eat a lot of stuff, and then I eat cake. Cake's. Yeah. I don't know if you know this. Not very good for diets.
Depends
not very compatible.
What cake are you looking at?
Double chocolate mousse.
Oh, then yeah, that's probably.
You don't think so?
On the downside. Yeah.
Is there a diet cake?
Yeah.
What is it?
Diet cake? I don't know. Probably like I'm sure there's some sort of like vegan.
Yeah.
Cake that you could.
Sounds absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
I'd rather just eat broccoli.
Yeah.
I like broccoli though.
You can make a cake of broccoli.
Although I think raw broccoli might be one of the worst things on the planet.
Chelsea really likes roasting broccoli and making it kind of like crispy, and I'm not about that.
Oh no, I like that.
Yeah.
You ever have broccolini?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. They're just small, right?
No, they're the long ones, I think.
Oh,
the long, thin ones.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
Broccolini.
Yeah. They just get stuck in your teeth. I don't know. They just
but it's like it's good for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's bad for you. Yeah.
Well,
dude, I've been eating nothing but protein at this point. Like it's
that's my
good.
Dream. I just want to eat protein.
I bought like 9 different types of like frozen protein lunches or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They're okay. Like they're not bad. Like it's kind of funny how like the best looking ones actually taste the worst, and like the ones that look like trash, and I'm like, that's actually, it looks bad, but like it tastes okay.
Why not just like meal prep? Like just buy a bunch of chicken breasts and then just air fry it or something.
We have limited freezer space.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So what we had I have like a bag of mesquite chicken still that I have to go through and stuff like that. So once that's done, then I am going to get a bunch of chicken, and then that'll be my Sunday routine is just cook a lot of chicken and prep it all and everything.
How's your cut going?
It's good. Yeah.
I can't wait for the bulk.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, right now it's just like learning what the different exercises are, like learning what I like and kind of like different muscle groups and things like that.
Yeah.
My shoulders were like dying yesterday, but
yeah.
it was good.
Have you noticed a difference yet, or
not really? Yeah. Like the scale. I mean, like I'm eating well, but like the scale is like staying the same or slightly going up, and I'm like less worried about that, I guess. Like I'm not like, I don't know, like really, really counting calories too much. Like I'm like, okay, I want to know what I'm consuming, but it's still within like 1,700 calories.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, it's just like I'm not.
How are you not losing weight at 1,600?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I am kind of.
You have to be. I'm at 2,000.
Yeah,
and so there's like a macro calculator online. I don't know how super accurate it is, but essentially you plug in your information, and it's like, if I do 2,000 calories with the exercise that I'm doing, I should be losing a pound per week.
Okay.
So there's obviously going to be a margin of error there, but like, and it's been pretty close to that. Actually, probably more than that because I'm
on week 2. I've lost 2 pounds a week. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's fine. Like it's good. I enjoy it.
You're on week 2?
Yeah.
Oh, so you took a break and then now you're coming back, or you're talking about like adding in exercise?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. No, for exercise.
Because I thought you've been dieting the whole time.
Oh, I've been dieting the whole time. And then once Thanksgiving hit and the holidays and everything,
okay, so you took a little reprieve.
Dude, it wasn't a reprieve. It was like I was just my own worst enemy for a month.
You're not your own worst enemy.
Oh, I definitely am.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't cheat. Like that's the thing. Is like I can't.
As soon as you get off. So tonight's going to be rough.
No, tonight will be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of food.
Burgers are good. They fill you up. They're protein.
I think burgers are. Don't get me wrong. I love burgers. They're probably my second favorite food, maybe even number one.
Yeah,
but they're not good. They don't have enough protein, dude.
Oh well, sure. Protein. But what I'm saying is like it's filling. It's good for you. Like not good for you, but like there is protein in there.
Yeah.
I can always get chicken sandwich too. Like it doesn't matter.
Sure.
But
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I might get a steak. I mean, steaks, that's a OP.
It depends where we go.
That's
you know what I mean?
protein.
Like if we go to a place that
I do like flipped.
So do I. That's why, like that's a very good consolidate or constellation. Yeah. Constellation
would be the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Virgo, Leo, Scorpio,
Cancer.
Not Cancer.
Yeah, I know.
Something.
Oh, you're saying what you are? I thought you had to be one. I'm like a Capricorn or something.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
Oh, me neither.
I should. Like, it was very interesting.
Is it?
Yeah. I think so.
I believe you.
I don't know. In my old age, I'm trying to keep my mind open on
you're
like,
young,
hey,
dude.
I like other people's passions and
I've been trying to do that too. Although like not passions per se, but like perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, like I let a guy eat part of my sandwich, and anyone who knows me knows that it killed me inside.
Yeah.
But
like there are limits.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I had to test the other side of the world.
and now that you're back?
I mean, it's like
you wouldn't do it again, right?
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It kills me.
Yeah.
There must be something there I need to unpack. I think it might have been my grandfather. He always used to yell at me if I didn't finish my food.
Yeah.
So it's like food, you know, like grandparents, food is sacred. Well, I mean, they went through the Great Depression, you know?
Sure.
It's like food is sacred.
Yeah.
Like you better eat all of it, and like all of it's yours, I guess, you know? I get very territorial over that.
Yeah.
Although I'm very territorial over everything.
Yeah.
Like I could have something I'm not using, and as soon as someone else wants it, I don't want to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like how sick is that?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I try to get, like, whenever I have a bunch of, like, tech and stuff just laying around, like, I kind of just offload it. To,
tech?
Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you, my brother-in-law, stuff. Yeah, like.
And then I have, like, an extra keyboard, and, like, someone wants it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's mine. What if my current one breaks?
Yeah, I do. That's how I think. I have, like, 3 keyboards.
That's why I have 1,000 HDMI cords, you know? Like, it's just, like, and I don't even, like, half of them probably I would never use.
Yeah. I don't know why I get so defensive about things.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like to blame my parents in, like, the past, per se, but I know psychology dictates otherwise.
Well, there's the nature nurture thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know why I do that. It's a bad habit. Anyways, I'm trying to do better. Trying to be more open-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like eating hot wings.
Yeah.
Although I really disappointed my cousin, I think, because like he has this one specific memory where we went out to get hot wings.
Yeah.
And I guess he thought I just loved hot wings.
Uh-huh.
I think what happened was I was very young and I was like, well, I want to be like a man, so I need to like spicy food.
Sure.
But as I've gotten older, it's like, dude, every time I eat something super spicy, like I enjoy like spicy food, but like a challenge level of spice,
yeah,
it's like never worth it.
Right.
So I'm like, what am I trying to prove here?
It's like easy mode on a game. You're just like, why?
I enjoy easy mode.
Yeah, no,
but look, that's another thing where it's like, I actually had a really great experience last year with a hard challenge. Mm-hmm. You know?
I will say, like, lifting weights, that's the one thing is like, before when I would do it, I'd be like, oh, I'm a little tired. And I just like stop.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, I'm going to keep going until I literally can't lift my arm.
Yeah. So you want to go, you don't actually have to go to failure. If you're within like 3 to 0 reps left that you have left in your body, that's a good place to be. You're going to see stimulation in the muscle there.
Good.
And I try to not go to failure just for injury prevention. But going to failure is perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, but
if you can handle it.
If I just kind of like stop for 2 minutes, I can go back and do another set. You know,
so you want to do multiple sets.
Oh,
but
that
that last set,
yeah,
you should be very close, if not to failure.
The nice thing with the app is it lets you. It's like, okay, you did this. Mm-hmm. How was it?
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
nice.
and then it
what app
gives
are you
you
using?
Scale. I'm using.
If you don't mind, little ad placement here.
Sure. I turned off. It's called Fitbod.
Okay.
Yeah, Fitbod's great, but it gives you kind of like it'll tell you your body. So like just from like yesterday, it's like, okay, like here's the like the muscle groups.
Oh, nice.
He did.
So it's gonna tell you where you're gonna be sore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yesterday was like just freaking all biceps.
Yeah.
But I like that because I'm like, okay, I need my arms need to get bigger. Sure. So I'm like, all right, like technically triceps is what you want to do. So like, but like triceps has been a triceps, shoulders, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy doing the shoulders because this is stupid, but it lets me. I'll get back into Beat Saber on the VR side because if Jeff does get into VR, I gotta get him into Beat Saber because I want to have my kind of fantasy, weird fantasy, is me, John, and Jeff playing multiplayer Beat Saber.
Oh, interesting.
And that's like the most fun.
You play all at the same time or what?
Yeah. So it's you pick the song and then you literally are in this like basically like kind of like arena. And you just see them and all the notes going to them and stuff, and you're seeing when they're screwing up or you're doing things, and you can kind of like wave to them and stuff. Like
that's funny.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it up to? Like 4 players?
It's quite a few. I think it's more than I don't know, but I think it's more than
like
4.
A whole room.
I think.
Wow.
It was quite a bit. Like in whenever I was actually playing and like getting like actually kind of good at Beat Saber, I was coming in first place a lot. So it was it was pretty nice.
I remember every expansion you were like cooking.
I think I own every track that they've come out with, which is a lot. And that's the equivalent of like Rock Band getting everything and stuff. Anyway.
There's a million things. Yeah.
I
think that's good.
Speaking of Cousins being disappointed, then we can kind of move on to our list. But
I don't know if he's actually disappointed. I just remember he brought it up. I don't want to.
My cousin texted me and he was like, "What was the game that you wanted me to play that you were raving about?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Was it Dragon's Dogma 2?"
Ugh.
Now, my thing is way back in the day, and I think I just wanted to be cool, so I was like, Sweeney Todd, it's fine or whatever. And like he went and saw Sweeney Todd. It was a terrible, terrible movie.
Oh, yikes.
So he always kind of like jokes about it. He's like, "Man, you got me good. Like you got me to go like watch Sweeney Todd." And I think they walked out of the movie, but that's kind of always been the ongoing joke of like, are you screwing with me right now?
Yeah,
like, is it actually a good game or whatever? So I told him, I'm like, I did end up telling him it was Dragon Age Veilguard that is the one he should be playing. I'm like, look, if I was going to Sweeney Todd you, I'd have been like, dude, Dragon's Dogma 2 is the best game ever.
Yeah.
You should go play that.
Yeah.
So I had a moment and I didn't do it, but that would have been, I feel like it's just too much money to.
You would have did that for me.
I don't think I would have. There are some games that I'm just like, man, that is a not good game.
I played it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of our buddy Jeff.
Yeah.
At What Killed Jeff. Good friend of the show. I was watching his stream, and he's playing the Outer Worlds.
Worlds or Wild?
Worlds.
Okay.
Because like the second one's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play it. Like I think it's right up my alley.
I thought it was great.
I think it's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Those kind of games. I mean, it's like because like my favorite Fallout is New Vegas.
I think it's a better Fallout personally. I think it feels better than Fallout. I think it's funnier than Fallout.
Obsidian made New Vegas, right? Obsidian made the Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Like 1 + 1 = 2 sometimes.
Yeah. All the time, actually.
I don't know. It does have a purple on Open Critic, which is interesting. So I don't know. But it looked a lot of fun.
The only downside whenever I played it was I don't think it was well optimized. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably. Yeah. That's what I couldn't tell. Is like, is this an optimization issue? Is this a fundamental, like gameplay and stuff? So I don't know, but I was enjoying it. I was like, I think I kind of like this.
I think you'd really like. What was it? The crap. The people that made Redfall, I think, also made that like time game.
Not a good start bringing up Redfall, but
I know. No, I know. That's the thing is like, hey, did you like Prey? Did you like? Oh, man, I can't think of the name now. Whatever, it'll come to me later. But they hear all these great games, and it's like, and Redfall.
Yeah,
but
I mean, making games is difficult.
Yeah, we got some new ones coming now. So, Final Fantasy comes out this month, right?
This like coming week, I think. I think like the 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe January's almost over, man. It's like,
so quick.
So that's coming, and then we got a whole bunch of.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play it a little bit, but I think I'm gonna wait for a whole playthrough when I get the new rig, so I can really max that thing out.
Yeah, I want to see what it just looks like and see if it's any like. Can I see the difference between the two and stuff? And it was Steam Deck
approved,
certified. Yeah. Here's the thing though, Steam Deck ain't gonna look better than a PlayStation 5. So it's like if I was gonna play on the
No, you should you should play it on the old big rig. Yeah. So I don't know. I told you I was playing the first one, Remake.
Yeah.
Which I think looks very good.
I still like that better, I think.
Like the game?
The look of it.
Oh, because of like the setting?
The setting, and I just think graphically it looked
well,
like it was
you're
better.
Comparing PC to PS5 though.
Sure, yeah. Sue me. I don't know.
Well, I might. I mean, so
whatever.
When you see it on your PC, then you can make the comparison.
I will.
You're talking about apples to apples.
Yeah.
It's like, your computer's like 5 times
I think the lighting just looked better.
Lighting looks great
in the first one.
I am super curious how the lighting looks in this one when we have it on the same platform.
Sure.
But so I was like looking for mods for it and stuff because I heard that there was like an HD mod where they fixed all the textures in the background.
Yeah.
And like the skyboxes, which is I know was like a problem with the first game. They removed it from Nexus mods for some reason. I guess the file was too big or something.
Interesting.
So I found it on Reddit, and it's just like a Google Doc where you can download it, but I was scared to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You're getting a new computer anyway.
Just destroy my life.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I already have Vanguard, so it's already over.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like thinking about doing that, but yeah, that'll be interesting. I think the only other game that comes out this month is Sniper Elite.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I think it's on Game Pass, so I'm
the other ones were, so I hope it is.
If it's on Game Pass day one, I'm gonna check it out. If not,
should be multiplayer.
We can play it, dude.
Yeah.
This might be the year of the multiplayer.
I enjoyed playing with Justin. I think he might have been annoyed at me. I know we like playing together, but
why do we think our cousins are annoyed at us?
I don't know. I always feel bad because like I enjoyed it, but I was also whenever we were playing, I was in like just a different headspace where I was a little goofy about it. Like I just wanted to have fun.
I see.
Which in a sniper game is not correct.
I thought that's what those games were about, though. Or am I?
Well, depending on how you want to do it. Justin is very methodical and really good at like, okay, like, hey, we're gonna like 3, 2, 1, kill these guys. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And like right now, that sounds really good. And for whatever reason, I was just like really goofy that day or something. And like if I missed a shot or something, like, oh no, they're coming after us. And, like, I was just like, I was dumb.
You got to be in the same.
Yeah. It can be a funny game, but it should be a serious game. So it's kind of.
I'm thinking of what's that one game where it's like, oh man, what is that game? You like run around. It's like just like a sandbox, and you just run around and stuff and just blow stuff up.
That is Sniper. Yeah, you're probably like Mercenaries or Just Cause.
Just Cause, I think is the one I'm thinking of with the guy, and you're just like blowing stuff up. Although the balloon thing is that Metal Gear?
That's Metal Gear.
Where you balloon people up.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Metal Gear Soul.
That is the funniest shit.
Yeah. They moved Assassin's Creed. So that's out of February. So that gives me a little bit of leeway.
Frees us up a little bit. Yeah.
Monster Hunter and
my cousin wanted to play Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're interested in that, but I was gonna. It's on Humble Bundle. I think it's. Oh, you already have them. Yeah. It was like cheap. So
Humble Bundle cheap.
Yeah, it's like $20 or something for two of them.
Oh, not the new one.
No.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to play the other ones to kind of get into it.
Nah.
To ramp it up. You don't want to do that?
Nah.
I don't know. If it's cheap.
If you guys do it, sure. Honestly, I probably,
like a night or two.
I'm sure I own them.
Yeah. You own everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Neither do I. It does feel good though whenever someone shows like it, like in our group, like our guy group Snapchat thing, whenever they're like showing a game and they're like, oh, I love this game. I'm like, oh, I'll get it and try it. And it's like, oh, dude, you've owned this since like 2022.
I mean, you're playing the long game, dude.
Yeah.
You're playing the very long game. But
I've only played 60% of the games I've owned, which is sad.
I've probably played like 100% of the games I own. Yeah, that's probably not true. Like 95% of the games I own. But I own like 1/100th of the games you own.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Orcs Must Die. We got to play that.
I have it.
That comes out. When does that come out? That's coming out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm down to play that. I mean, I got to play some games. I've been playing League of Legends. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
I've heard of it.
I'm almost gold now. So I was slumping really hard. And I was actually telling Jeff about this, that I've had a youthful moment in football, but I had a very old moment in League of Legends. Like my hands are gone, dude. I can't play. I started this season out like terrible, like 5-10 or something, which is really bad. Like I lost 4 out of my 5 placement games, and I was very depressed. I was like, dude, I've spent a decade of my life dedicating myself to this game.
Yeah.
And now it's like when you're hanging up the cleats, it's like a sad day. It's like, maybe it's time to retire. But and then I played Misfortune. I'm like, all right, never mind. I started destroying everyone.
There you go.
Misfortune's the best.
Yeah.
She is.
That has always been my favorite character in that game.
Really?
Yep.
Not Blitzcrank?
Nope.
Blitzcrank?
Blitzcrank was a very old, or a very kind of like
you have
recent
170. There's going to be a couple you'd vibe with.
Yeah. Misfortune I was vibing with.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome. She's very easy to play. She's very easy to look at. And she's very easy to play.
Yeah.
And so that combination results in a lot of W's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, when I played her, it was going down mid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like ARAM?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it was...
You were playing mid lane Misfortune?
I was playing mid lane Misfortune. That's whenever I was playing her.
That's a long time ago.
It was him and Thresh.
Her and Thresh?
Her and Thresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thresh is cool. I was never good at Thresh, though.
Teemo was cool.
Teemo's a bastard.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't know.
I
hope the next Arcane show is Noxus, because like they're doing like a theme this year, which is like Noxus, which is another region. So
I know you've been wanting to talk about Arcane for a while. You want to knock that out?
Yeah. I was getting there.
Is this the segue? Good.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Go for it. What are we talking about?
You I don't know. You seem to really want to talk about it.
Well, I did. So I hope their next show is Noxus, because my favorite character in the game is Darius.
Yeah.
Which is Noxus.
He was not in this one.
He was not in Arcane?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I thought like when they were teasing like the what's her name? Mbessa was coming in.
Yeah.
They were like teasing Noxus. I was like, dude, is Darius gonna show up? I was like, I would have lost my mind, dude.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
It's the Heihachi of
it is
Arcane.
well, for me.
Sure.
The Heihachi of League of Legends? That's a great question.
I just meant showing up.
I understand that, but I'm like trying to think of like who the poster boy is. I don't know if there is one.
Yeah.
Kind of changes. Maybe there's a couple you can narrow it down to. It used to be like Rise.
I would say it's got to be Jinx, right? At this point.
At this point, she's always been like kind of like a core. Lux is up there. What?
Like what's the
appeal?
You have your Jinx.
Yeah.
You have your Harlequin.
Yeah.
It's just like you could like.
It's like it's an archetype.
Yeah.
It's not a femme fatale per se, but it's adjacent.
But I guess why did they become the? Because like Jinx was I guess Jinx was what, the first deal, like the first new character they came out with.
No, I don't think so. But she was early on. Yeah,
that's why she
blew up. Yeah, she blew up in popularity.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just think they're. Well, it's like kind of the same thing, like a Joker-esque situation, right?
No, I know. I'm just like it's not.
Although
that's
she's
not
like
what
very
was created. Like Harlequin was created for the animated series, like just kind of this like weird side character that then just kind of like blew up.
Yeah,
Jinx was not part of the original roster,
right?
That then blew up, and it's just like it's like what makes them special that
people just got
overshadows the entirety of because like animated series gone.
Yeah,
Harlequin freaking lives on. Times 20.
Yeah, she's super popular. I don't know. That's a good question. I think Jinx, though, in Arcane, the show, very different than the game.
Yeah.
They never show. All right, we can talk about the second season. I've been wanting to talk about this since it came out. We never got to it.
It's been on the list for a while.
So, here's my initial thought. Okay. I thought, and this is the problem with me playing the game for so long or whatever, I thought the end of Arcane, it was going to be the characters that we know. Mm-hmm. Like they were going to finally get to that place where it's like, here's what they are in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So like Jinx is just like a psycho. Yeah. Right. And like Jace is like, I don't know, whatever. So I thought that's where, and like Vi's like on the Force full time or whatever. Yeah. Like I thought that's what was going to happen. I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of messed with me a little bit. Like all these characters, like they essentially retconned a lot of stuff. With the show, especially season 2.
Yeah.
Kind of went took a left turn. So, I mean, you have no reference. So
I have no reference.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed it.
Did you liked it?
I was very confused on a lot of what was happening.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like went off the deep end, and I was like, wait, okay, like I'm here for it.
I guess
like
we're
it was
here
super
now.
weird.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
So I think they needed more time to develop a lot of these. Like they needed a season 3 or a couple more episodes or something.
Okay.
Because everything happened too quickly, in my opinion. I think they developed these ideas in season 2, like the time stuff and like all this evolution stuff with Victor, and then it just, I don't know, it was I felt like it was very quick, and they had to like tie up loose ends like very quickly, and it was like just a little rushed, in my opinion. I thought the ideas were good, and I liked the season overall, but I felt like it was like, okay, things are just happening, and it would be like one episode where like they would introduce something and then resolve it right away.
Did you rewatch season 1?
No.
Did you weren't lost on anything or didn't forget anything or anything?
I'm sure I probably did.
See, that was my biggest issue is I think I should have rewatched season 1 going into season 2 because I watched like the recap or whatever.
Yeah.
And then maybe like halfway through the recap, and it was like 3-4 minutes long, I was just like, oh, right. Oh, crap. Oh, I don't remember this at all. Oh, no. And it was just like, it got bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man. It's kind of like we just watched, not to jump, but like we just watched Squid Game. Is the same thing where it's like we just started right on season 2. And when you have these kind of gaps, I completely don't remember anything from the first season, clearly. So I think it was a detriment on Arcane, where I was like, oh, I was forgetting a lot of things or missing a lot of things or forgetting where it kind of finished.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably fair. I was kind of hanging on. The time stuff was interesting.
I guess we'll call spoilers. Is that you want to talk? Yeah, spoilers.
Probably.
Sure. Okay.
Unless you
no, continue.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like they spent a whole episode, like Echo is in a different timeline or something.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it was a very cool episode.
Yeah.
But they spent a lot of time devoted to like a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Rather than like the stuff that was going on. So
but that was his development, right? Like he needed that episode to get his like cool powers almost.
Yeah, he got the Z drive.
Yeah.
Which is what makes him. But then the Z drive breaks at the end.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, it's like, okay, I thought Echo is now going to have the Z drive, right? Victor is now going to be like a cyborg dude.
Yeah.
No. Victor's like, I have no idea where Jason and Victor are. Echo's like lost the Z drive in one episode, which is insane. Warwick's dead again. And then I totally hated, it sounds like I hate the season, which I really don't, but I really hated some of the character designs. Like they wanted Warwick, who is Vander, whatever, right? The experiment wolf thingy.
Yeah. That's like all Arcane. Like that wasn't past.
Warwick is a character within League.
No, I know. I've played against them plenty of times.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is like Vander, we didn't know Vander was going to be Warwick.
Vander was totally unique to Arcane.
That's what I mean. So that was technically a shock whenever it was like, oh, wait a minute. Like
they were teasing it so like everyone knew, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like at the end of season 1, you have Singed, who is like, you have Warwick kind of hanging there. So anyone who's like, plays the game,
but you didn't know it was
shit.
Vander, right?
People were theorizing it,
sure.
But yeah, it wasn't confirmed. Yeah, for sure. But so I was like, okay, that's cool. But they made him look like humanoid, so like you could have that Vander connection, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just hated the design. I thought he was going to convert to more feral form.
Interesting.
Into like Warwick that we know.
Yeah.
Because I love Warwick. He's super cool. He's like a
wolf.
He's a wolf.
Yeah.
And like it never happened. He like transformed into like this cyborg fusion thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone else did, which is like, sure.
It fit with the story.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. It didn't go where I wanted it to go, I guess, is what I'm saying, which is like, I'm just an idiot. I'm just a guy. So it's like, obviously it didn't go where I wanted it to go. But
I think
I wish it got to the, I hated Victor's design too. Like his face got split open or something. It's weird. I don't know. I didn't like the design.
Ethereal guy?
Yeah. Who's like saving everyone.
Yeah.
Like the Messiah guy.
Yeah.
Like,
so why was he wasn't they were treating him like he was a bad guy.
Yeah, because I mean, it's kind of like the way I interpreted it is like the one mind, like the hive mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like bringing everyone in. It's like so
free
will is like kind of gone at that point. Yeah. Also, like because of what Jace saw in the future, he sees that going down this path leads to just the destruction of everything. So that's probably a factor into why he's trying to stop him.
Okay.
I don't think he's a bad guy. Like he's not bad intentioned. I think he's just going down the wrong.
I guess Jace is a section where it's like when you were talking how it was fast. He just kind of kept coming in and out, and it was very weird. Yeah.
Like he's in this apocalyptic timeline thing, and
like I felt Vi and Caitlyn and Jinx were good.
Well, even with Kate, it was like, and Besta kind of takes her under the wing. I was like, oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like there wasn't enough time. It was like, all right, that was like for a little bit, and then Vi snaps her out of it like pretty quickly after that. And I was like,
and she kills her, right?
Who kills who?
Who's the head of the big black lady?
Besta?
Yeah.
She dies. Yeah.
But that was like quick. That was like a okay, we're gonna do it, and it's like okay,
they just introduced just made her as a character, and now she's like dead.
Yeah,
and it's like cool because like okay, there's stakes now. It's not like we initially thought like every champion's gonna be safe.
Who's her daughter? What's her name?
Mel.
Yeah. So is she in?
She is now. She is the newest champion in League of Legends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
She's cool too. So
sure. But again, it's just like okay, like everyone. Yeah, I could see it being quick. I
just think they needed a couple more episodes just to because the first season was paced so well, right? Where it's like, all right, that first chunk was like the childhood stuff, and then I think the first season was definitely I like the first season more than the second season.
I would agree. I think it is because it was like all new and just introducing everything.
Yeah,
and I felt like I was grasping everything. Yeah. I liked season 2.
I did too.
I thought it was good.
I just think it didn't line up with my expectations, which is totally cool. I didn't love the character designs, and I think the pacing was a little bit quick.
Are you worried that will then bleed into League of Legends and Warwick will start to change and models will start to change and
they haven't yet. They did a skin with his like evolution cyborg thing.
Okay, so
I keep calling it cyborg.
They put it in,
but
just
they didn't make him look humanoid now, which is good.
Okay. All right.
Which is like, he looks sick. Like, why? You could have done it in a way where you retained his look, his feral look, his menacing look, and still indicate that it's Vander. Like, that could have easily been done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They wanted to make him look like Vander. I thought it was stupid. I hated the design of it.
Okay.
Personally.
That's fair.
So, sorry.
Hey.
Just saying. And Victor, too. His just looked bad.
It got a little weird. I didn't really know what they were going for there, and I actually looked it up because I'm like, is this supposed to look like?
No.
And yeah, it was.
He's supposed to be a dude with like a kind of like a mask on.
Yeah.
He's just like replacing his body parts with like, metal or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he looked way better his original design, but even the Victor mains, like the subreddit was blowing up. They're like boycotting the news update. They're like, this guy, bring him back. But it is what it is. It was a good show though. Cool. It was a good show. I mean, it's a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
That, like seeing these characters fleshed out.
It's always weird because like people like that are watching Arcane for the first time and then maybe going into League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
Like how does that work? I mean, granted, they're just going to get.
They showed the numbers. There was a spike in playership, and then it just went right back down.
It's like, wait, I like this.
It is one of the worst games in terms of like friendly to new players.
I think once the MMO hits, that's going to be the real catalyst. Like they get season 3, season 4 by the time that happens, and then the MMO comes out, and like they'll
100%.
That's where people jump in.
Yeah. MMOs are so friendly to like new players because you can play however you want. You can be super hardcore, you can be super chill, and just do like the world stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Even Jinx, like I said, like totally different arc.
And that's what I was worried about because the whole thing was like I liked that she was really struggling with like, okay, like, am I psychotic or fine or whatever? And like, she did get to a point where it was like, she was like crazy.
Yep.
And then kind of just like abandoned it all really quickly.
Exactly.
Which was a little weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, never mind. She's like, comes back around. I was hoping in my head was like, she just fully commits. But also, we never saw like, I don't know. We did maybe a little bit. But like, Jinx was always traditionally, there was like whimsy there as well. It was like Batman the Animated Series Joker.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not super serious. Like, there's gags and stuff. Like, he's still a bad guy.
Yeah,
he's
killing
still crazy.
people,
Yeah, but it's like in a funny
ways. Yeah.
jokey, like a boxing glove's going to come out of a box way and hit you in the face. Rather than like the Killing Joke or something where he's like,
I'm going to paralyze you and just shoot you in the spine.
Just like, I always like the more lighthearted Joker and subsequently Jinx as well.
Mm-hmm.
But she was kind of much more serious, especially at the end, which is fine. Just different than what I expected anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. It's awesome seeing the characters like fleshed out like that. And like the animation is super cool. And I think I sent you the trailer for the...
You did, and I didn't. I
okay,
forgot
but
I was gonna watch it,
they're really leaning into that style. I think
did see, I saw bits and pieces of like GIFs and stuff going out where it's like, oh, that's Arcane.
Right, exactly. So,
which is good. I think they need that.
Yeah, like an identity, it's super. They have a formula that's kind of working here. Yeah. So,
which again, I'll be interested, like, because like that it also is bleeding into the fighting game.
Yeah,
like that style, and like with MMO, I'd be really interested.
Dude, I don't know when that game's gonna come out.
Fighting game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing.
2XKO.
Yeah. Like
the worst name of all time.
Yeah. Probably.
I always thought anything Riot did, they were just going to like be gold. But with the failure of this card game, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Is a fighting game going to fall down the same path?
Ooh, maybe.
It's such a shame, too. The card game was so good. It's just...
Well, it's the thing. If it's good and they didn't monetize it right or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's a kind of I think it was a timing thing. I think we talked about that a little bit, but yeah. I just want I really love. It's in my top 100, the Ruined King game, which is just like a turn-based.
I thought it was very good.
I thought it was too. Yeah. I actually really like that turn-based model too, where you're there's like a timeline at the bottom, and you have like attacks that are quicker or slower that do more. And you can see and kind of gauge like, okay, well, if I do this now, and then what really throws a wrench in things is like other abilities will switch people in the timeline and stuff and shorten their length.
I think it's called Battle Chasers.
Yeah, we were talking about the other game they did. Yeah,
you should maybe try that too if you like the gameplay.
That was it was a cool. I'm always interested in seeing how people innovate on the turn-based model because I think a lot of people think that turn-based is like a dead system. Because things are just too fast today, but I think it just needs creativity.
Yeah.
So I love anything that updates that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like that's my dream game though. Is like just like an RPG or like a single player game in the League world. Like any game like that is right up my alley.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Arcane, very good.
I thought so.
Yeah. You think they're picking up season 3? Probably, right?
No, they're done.
Are they done?
With Arcane, yeah. They're probably gonna do something else. For sure.
Yeah.
It's too much money.
Yeah.
It's like a golden cow.
Yeah. Cool. Speaking, I don't. Do we want to talk about Nintendo's thing?
Well,
how are we feeling?
Switch 2's revealed.
Yeah.
But we don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
It was like this 1 minute thing of like
2 minutes.
It's bigger. Here's a little paint.
Yeah.
On the controller. Yeah. Like, what did we learn from that?
Well, we learned it's bigger.
Yep.
We learned that it might be a mouse. Because it has like a little mouse sensor on the bottom. Yeah. You saw it like skating around. So people were thinking it might be that. It's magnets now instead of like a rail system.
Yeah. This is really
has a cool kickstand.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is really interesting because traditionally Nintendo is vastly different from generation to generation in terms of consoles, right? Like we went from like the Wii to the Wii U, which is totally different.
Kind of.
I think so.
Sure.
Don't you?
Well, continue.
I don't know. You have like GameCube, and you have like, which is like a more traditional console. You have the Wii. What is the lineage, by the way? I'm butchering this.
Like, what do you mean?
Like the timeline of...
Yeah, GameCube, Wii U.
Yeah, but what was first? Super Nintendo?
Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Which is more like traditional.
Yeah.
And then GameCube?
Mm-hmm. N64, and then GameCube.
Oh, N64, that's right.
Yeah.
Which was like super different controller, right? Like, I feel like the point is, I feel like they always are never afraid to be super different.
Yeah.
And drastically change the model.
Yes.
Okay? Now we go from Switch 1 to Switch 2, which I think is like maybe the first time this has happened. Maybe Nintendo to Super Nintendo is like similar. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Isn't that weird?
It's so you would think it's weird. However, when you're looking at Switch being the number one console, right? Like it's just outside everyone, it's just the best, right? This happened before whenever the Wii came out, right?
Yep.
So when you go to Wii and then Wii U, which effectively is Wii 2, right?
Was it though?
It really was. I think if it
you didn't have the sticks or anything.
Right, but it's a successor to their most popular thing. Like, yes, they had like it was different. Like,
yes.
And we'll get to that point.
Okay.
So it was different, but from a marketing standpoint, calling it the Wii U was like the worst thing they could possibly do.
Yeah, right.
Nobody understood it, even because I was working GameStop at that moment. It was very hard to explain to people and have them understand. No, this is like, you could think of this as a Wii 2, like this is like a second thing, and people were just like very like, I don't know. It was poorly marketed. So when you're coming into the Switch, which is now the best selling console, here's a iteration on it, like just a better version of this that plays all the old games, that does, like it's backwards compatible fully and more or less. That's when you're saying like Switch 2, like it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like what would you, I guess, do differently where it's like the handheld thing is the thing.
Yep.
People don't want Game Boys anymore when you could have both in one.
Yep.
So it's like,
can I counter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So previously, the greatest console that they made, or the most selling, whatever, was Wii, right?
Yeah.
Which came from after GameCube, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So GameCube to Wii, totally different jump though.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't make the Super GameCube.
Correct.
That's kind of,
you could argue that the Wii is a GameCube, just with like they pulled in the motion control as the shtick for that.
Sure.
Well,
but it's a totally different console. It's a different concept.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess my point is, what worked for them in the past was not being afraid to completely... Like, it seemed like they were always one step ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With the Wii, they were one step ahead with the motion controls and how that functioned. And then with the Switch, they were one step ahead with the handheld component.
Yeah.
Versatility element.
Mm-hmm. And the motion controls and everything.
And the motion controls and everything, right?
Yeah.
So kind of innovating, but also being different. Like they're always one step ahead. In this case, they're just going with what works, which isn't what made the Wii successful and isn't what made the Switch successful, I guess is my point. So I guess my only question would be like, what would... Not be like, well, what would you do? It's like when you're looking at it and it's like, okay, like you have this market. Everyone is scrambling to get mobile, like portable consoles, right? Yeah.
Like that is a thing people like.
Yes.
They want. I love my Steam Deck. Microsoft's looking at it. Sony did their weird Portal thing that probably isn't what people want, but like it's still it's their thing,
right?
So it's like Nintendo already is there. Like they have all of that. So I guess it's like, okay, like what do you do beyond that? Like if they have something that works. Now for me personally, I am maybe a little bummed that like basically every leak that came out was like, yep, that's the thing. Like this is it. It's a bigger one of these. Like cool. It definitely looks refined. I think it looks sleeker. I like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest thing is like it was kind of like it was safe. It was boring a little bit. Like I get what you're saying, where it's like I would love for them to be like, here's the new game, like GameCube-esque or Nintendo 64-esque, or like what is the next leap for Nintendo? But it's like where you're looking at where the market is, like I don't know what that is, like because it's not VR, like you can't force people. So like,
well, I don't know what it is either, but I don't think anyone could have, like in the GameCube era when we're waiting for the Wii, I don't think anyone would have said, "Oh, motion controls is the next logical step." I think it was kind of a surprise, right?
Yeah.
So who knows what it could be, but
I think Nintendo is just like, hey, we're literally printing money with these, and it's like,
working.
Yeah, but it's like, what can you? It's hard to fault them when you're looking at like the way that they do the consoles, and it's like GameCube was like fine, but it wasn't as well selling as like your PlayStation and your and then you have the Wii U, which was like
maybe their
aside
worst.
from the Dreamcast, probably one of the biggest failures. So it's like
100%
in modern consoles, and it's just like, okay, like they've had flops. Nintendo isn't flawless, so it's like from a marketing standpoint and everything, like, is it safe? Yes, but is it like I'm gonna buy one, you're probably gonna buy one, right? Like it's like why have a Switch if this is literally everything that the Switch does, this does, but like probably better. Like I'm sure that they're gonna be like, hey, Breath of the Wild 60 frames now, like you're good. This it's solid 60, everything maxed out, whatever. Like because they're saying this is like a PS4 Pro-esque power. Like this is slightly better. Like it's the chip in there rumored slightly better than Steam Deck. Less RAM, but slightly better chip. So it's like comparable to Steam Deck or whatever. So it's like without all that extra power, like you could basically every game that you wanted to play on Switch, now it's all at 60, and here's all the new games, coming out or whatever, like your Mario Kart and your new Mario 3D World or whatever. Not 3D World, but 3D game. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it's, for me, the biggest thing was, like, it just looked too similar. I agree with you. Like, I think it's just, like...
I'm not even saying it's bad. Maybe it's coming across that I'm saying it's a bad move. It's definitely not a bad move. I think it's a safe move.
It didn't feel Nintendo.
I think it's a smart move. It didn't feel Nintendo. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I always expect, out of the big three, Nintendo is the one that is going to kind of push things forward or just be the wild card, really, is what they've been, right? PlayStation 6 is going to happen. Xbox is going to name it something even stupider next time. Yeah. So Nintendo's always like, who knows what they're going to come out with? So, and then it's like, oh, it's just a bigger, better Switch. I don't know. I
think my thesis is Wii U scared them. And I don't think that's out of their brain. So whenever they have something that is incredible and is literally fire, they're not going to do the next thing.
So do you think the Wii U destroyed Nintendo's ability to take that risk?
I don't think destroyed the ability, but I think that there are discussions in the boardroom.
Well, of course, they lost a ton of money on it.
I would be shocked if the Wii U wasn't mentioned whenever they were when they were talking about like the next iteration or the next thing.
Yeah.
Again, with the like literally Switch 2 is like the dumbest. Like I know Jeff was talking about like Super Switch and stuff, which I liked.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like Switch Super personally because I could see like the Switch and then you have like Super just kind of like scribbled underneath of it.
From a design. I even know what script you're using.
Yeah, in my mind, that's cool.
With an underline?
It could be.
I'm thinking Supra font, the Toyota Supra. I'll show you and tell me if that's what you're thinking. But keep going.
Probably not, but it's I don't know. Like I think
probably not.
It's going to be pretty. It's going to be a safe thing. And for all intents and purposes, this is probably like the Switch Pro that everyone has been kind of talking about and expecting and different things like that.
Yeah.
It's just that's what I'm looking at it from. So like it's not to me this isn't Nintendo. This is going to sound dumb. To me, this isn't Nintendo's next system. This is their iteration of the Switch. Yeah. Exactly. I'll take that. Sure.
Yeah.
It's not exact, but yeah, I
like
that
the
font.
kind of cursive-y.
Yeah. Yep. Like you have Switch and kind of like that sans serif.
Yes.
You
have
Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. You could be a designer.
No.
But I don't personally, and again, this is completely wrong, but this is my personal.
No. Well, you can't say personal opinion and it's wrong.
This is my indoctrination theory of Nintendo. Is
shit.
This is the Switch Pro. This is how I'm choosing to view it.
I see.
Where this is the thing. Now, if this comes out and it doesn't have an OLED screen, I'm going to be kind of upset.
I could totally see them doing that.
Me too.
On purpose.
Yes.
So that they can milk that.
They're going to come out with the Switch 2 Lite. They're going to come out with the Switch 2 OLED.
If that's the case, I will just wait for the OLED.
I think I might be with you.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I? I'm not going to buy that, and then I know I'm going to buy the OLED anyways down the line, so just wait.
Yeah.
Skip it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I guess it depends on, like, if the Mario Kart, because people are talking, so the only game they showed so far is Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And people are talking, like, open world Mario Kart.
Interesting.
It was like people were just like, this is kind of weird. This is like they were like going off road. I didn't think the Mario Kart looked like they picked like it was like a desert track, and you know how I don't like deserts, so I'm already kind of like this kind of looks dumb. But if it's something like you have this open world for Mario Kart, and then it's kind of like Need for Speed or like your Forza where you all drive up to the thing and then it starts the actual track, that could be cool. But the thing that I worry about is it ain't going to be like if you use all that power for open world, that means the tracks can't be that good.
Right.
So we'll see kind of how that goes.
Yeah, it's a balancing act.
And then I thought Donkey Kong, I was very upset with the Donkey Kong redesign. I don't know if you noticed that.
I saw people complaining about it. I have no idea.
He looks very much like in the movie, which is fine. And that's kind of like the Arcane thing where it's like, hey, the movie was popular or the TV show was popular. We're going to pull it back in.
Yeah.
At least League of Legends, it's a skin. In this, it's like, hey, we just made Donkey Kong look like a doofus.
Oh, no.
Not that he always really wasn't, but it's like, if that's the new look of him, it makes me a little sad personally.
Yeah. I saw the internet not very happy about that.
Not loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, something that sparked a thought in my head is when you mentioned the Switch Pro.
Yeah.
If we go back and look at the history of Nintendo consoles, it's kind of like in every other one is a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the strategy is, okay, Switch 2, it's like a Switch Pro. So we know this is going to be, there's like a baseline floor. We know how successful this is going to be.
Yep.
Probably. It's like it's much safer as we mentioned. And then they're gearing up for that next one to be that new thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is kind of a really smart strategy, I would say, right?
This is the only reason this is called a Switch 2 in my mind is marketing. I think that's the thing is they can't call it a Switch U because it's going to be like, you know.
I was always under the impression that a numbered item in marketing always performs less well than.
If that
is
was
that true or no?
I don't believe that because if
like
that,
sequels never outsell the original, like mostly.
Well, I think games and I think hardware is different. Look at Apple. Apple's still coming out with this. Here's the 16. Here's the 17 phones. Here's all this stuff. Nintendo always follows Apple.
So if it's like a movie or something,
look at the Xbox and how that's like. Oh, this is the Xbox Series X. People are like, well, that's kind of weird because this is the series. So it's Xbox One X. How's this different?
Yeah.
And that was all jumbled up.
Yep.
And then Sony comes out. Here's the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Okay, next year, PlayStation 6. You know, like whatever. Or, whatever
so maybe it's like from a hardware perspective, it's like, okay, if it's numbers, it's like, oh, this is a higher number, it must be better. But from like a movie perspective, it's like, oh, it's the second one, I'm gonna be lost.
I have to watch the first. Yeah. It's like you're gonna do that. If you go into the store and you see, oh, here's the Switch, and here's the Switch Super or the Switch U or the Switch Pro. It's like, okay, well, it's for my kid, whatever. I'll just get him the old Switch.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know any better.
Right.
But if you have here's Switch 1, here's Switch 2, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to get him an old one that's going to go away in what, like, I think it's an instant get for like the grandparents going out to the store and picking that stuff up or whatever.
Interesting.
But for all intents and purposes, it's a Switch Pro. Like, it's literally the same thing. It's just bigger. It's black. Like it's all, which I'm sure they'll play with colors, but like it's sleek as heck.
Yep.
And I don't know. Like my whole thing is if it plays all the old games just way better from like a frame rate perspective and everything, they're saying that it's going to use a lot of like almost like DLSS, not DLSS, but like kind of like that where it's like it's using like upscale to 4K. Great. I don't know. We'll see. I don't put a lot of stock in the whole like this is the next system or whatever. This is to me this is equivalent of like a DSi XL and a 3DS XL and a 2DS. And it's just like, it's still within the family and they're just throwing out a bunch of iterations.
Yeah.
This is like the next thing for Switch Lite, Switch OLED, Switch, like all that stuff. I'm probably wrong. That's fine.
I think it's probably fair.
April 2nd, we'll find out all the information. We'll see what they're doing and everything. Apparently there's another one coming out in like February where they're going to talk about like Metroid and stuff. So we'll see.
We're excited about that.
Yeah, I don't care about Metroid. But
I've never played a Metroid in my life.
I'm very excited for Mario Kart. Like if there is a very kind of social thing, I think Mario Kart could be something that kind of everyone just plays and just has a good like video game experience. I hope. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that could be fun.
It's the great unifier.
I think
Mario
so.
Kart.
I think so. It's the thing that parents can put on the TV, and when Penny's old enough to play Mario Kart, I'm gonna whoop her ass, and it's gonna be like that's the only thing I can do.
You're not gonna let Penny win?
No, absolutely not.
No game?
No,
not even Tekken?
No.
All right.
No.
What if she plays Alyssa in Tekken?
I don't want to say on air.
Okay. We will not say on air then. Do you want to move on to our next?
Yeah,
are we good with the Switch 2?
I think so. I'm excited for it. I like the look of it.
Yeah.
I wish the dock looked better. I wish that it was just different.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not. It's literally the exact same thing. So
bigger.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge Nintendo guy, so my favorite console of theirs was the Game Boy Advance SP.
Sure.
It's a great console. Handheld.
Well, that's the other thing too is when do they put all of the Pokemon games on that system?
I sure hope so, man.
Like, because they're gonna have to
Draw
beef up
people.
the Nintendo online stuff. Probably not right away because everyone's gonna like if Mario Kart's their like launch game. I would love to see a pack-in. That would be amazing.
A what?
A pack-in for the game. So like people don't do that anymore, right? Like I would love to see a combo. Like here's a Switch, get Mario Kart in there automatically.
Yeah.
Oh, all your old cartridges play, but they play better. Great. Can't wait to put Breath of the Wild in, and it just works great. And then if you get that, technically, I have all those physical games. You can play them like the olden days, and it's just, oh man, here's the cart. Here's everything on it. You're good.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, it has 2 USB-Cs, which is crazy.
That is pretty insane.
It's more than the Steam Deck.
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, all right.
Shall we get into our first review of the year?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I got to put my brain in review mode.
I think you're in review mode. You've been reviewing this Switch 2.
Yeah, that's
it hasn't come out yet.
Sorry. All right.
No, don't be sorry. It was a good analysis, I think.
Right.
Or speculation.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
It's all speculation. It's fine.
Of course, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
We can speculate to our heart's desire.
Yes.
Which is what we're doing. All right, so
official review.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
Yes.
Or just Indiana Jones, the Great Circle?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. No colons, no anything. I love that title.
Okay.
I love it.
Really?
I love it.
Why?
Because it's not, you don't have to, because if you look on, man, we're already off to a great start.
No,
if you look at like Steam or Xbox or EA, it's always like Star Wars, TM, blah, 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 blah.
And you
it's
can't
just like,
find it?
Yeah, well, you can, or it's just, it looks messy.
I see.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Great title.
Yeah.
It's all right there.
Shouldn't there be a comma, though?
No.
Because of and?
No. You don't need a comma before and.
I thought you did.
No.
Okay. I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm pulling up my review. Okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
We're going to be
sure.
reviewing this.
Yeah.
You want me to start then?
I want you to start, man. I want to feed off of you.
All right. Well, I used the same template that you used.
Okay, so you're going in order.
Dragon Age.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones, the Great Circle. Where do I want to start? What's my history with Indiana Jones? I've seen the first 4. I saw the Crystal Skull once. Mistake. That movie sucked. I didn't see the newest one.
The newest one was okay. It was good.
I remember you were pretty high on it. Yeah. And I don't think I have any interest in it. So I think Indiana Jones is cool. I've never been as high on Indiana Jones as the rest of the world. People love Indiana Jones.
Yes.
I think he's cool. I think the first one is definitely the best one. Not even close. The third one's like okay.
I was going to say, the third one is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
The first one I think is the best case closed.
Okay.
They should have stopped. It would have been just a great one thing.
Okay.
But I enjoy it. I think he's a cool character. I like the antics. It's just a fun like movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Harrison Ford in Star Wars is just infinitely better.
Yeah,
no?
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
I think so.
Yes. Continue.
So that's kind of my history with it. So I like it. Don't love it. The game itself, though, is very... I had trouble with this review because it's kind of complicated. There's a lot of things going on. So I'll start with the gameplay because that's the first section that you have. The gameplay is not great in this game. It feels super old, okay? So, like, for example, there's like a big stealth mechanic in this game. Like, stealth is very important, I would say, probably, mostly.
Yeah. They want you to be...
They want you to be stealthy because, like, if you just try to fight everyone, you're probably going to lose, which I did at first. I found out real quick that those Italian fascists hurt.
They can throw a punch.
They can throw a punch. Wow, they use batons.
Also,
a lot
they
of
have
time.
lead batons.
Not very fair fight. But the stealth, like, it doesn't innovate on the stealth mechanics as well. It's like a super old style of stealth where you're just crouching and like I don't know. Stealth has always been very difficult in video games to do well, I think, because it's like, oh, someone almost noticed you and it has like the meter that's filling up.
Yes.
And then I just cover behind a truck and it's like, just the meter goes down, which obviously, like in real life, it doesn't work that way. Like you think you see something, you go and investigate. And they'll like walk over, but it's like, it must have just been the wind or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, that seems very outdated to me. I don't know how you innovate on that. Again, I think stealth is really hard to do, but
I think it's important to note too that this is a first-person game, and stealth in first-person games is very tough. I think you actually, when we were talking kind of off air, we were talking about Dishonored, and I think that's probably one of the better stealth ones.
Yes.
You could maybe throw in like an Elder Scrolls in there because it's very simple. Like, are you hidden or are you not? Get your stealth up.
But this felt very Elder Scrolls.
It did,
right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you have the little eyeball.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point. Like it's first person, which I don't think this game should have been first person.
I understand why, because it's Machine Games. They did all the Wolfenstein.
Correct.
It's in their wheelhouse. And to some extent, the stealth is essentially what, Wolfenstein was. It's just like stay crouched and kind of run around and kill Nazis and things like that.
Yep.
But I think, I agree with you that it's, for me personally, whenever you're in first person, I always feel claustrophobic, and maybe like you like that feeling of like, oh no, I gotta run away because they're coming after me. But I always felt that I was getting caught or seen or whatever, and I didn't have a good understanding of my surroundings, which you could call that immersive, I guess. But I feel like in a world where when you're first person, like you, John, walking around the world, you have a much better understanding of your surroundings and who's where and what than you do in a first-person video game. So it's just like, I would much have rather had this game be third-person, where you can play it like a Hitman, play it like a Splinter Cell. If stealth is that important, play it even like a Tomb Raider, where, you might lose some of that immersiveness.
Yep.
But the gameplay, which is what we're talking about, would be a lot more fluid, a lot better. You would feel better. I personally think.
I agree. I think the gameplay was very clunky when it came to stealth, traversing the environments, like doing like climbing and stuff, like super slow and everything.
Yeah.
And then,
which you said you found something to make you climb
I could
faster.
Sprint while climbing.
I didn't.
It was
ever
like
get
one
that.
of the books.
Yeah, I didn't get that. So.
And then the combat too, it felt like a little clunky, I guess.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't, I don't even know it didn't feel like weighted enough maybe to really feel like the hits that you're doing. You're like, it felt super outdated in terms of like, we're kind of just running into each other and I'm throwing punches. And like a lot of the time I'm just hitting air, dude. I'm just like totally whiffing. And
or you have to wait until they punch you so you can parry it and then
I'm
punch them a couple times.
Always out of breath.
Yep.
And I wish it was a little bit more weighty.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit too loose in terms of, I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but that's how I felt at least. So I think third person would have just been better because, yeah, it was more immersive, and I know what they're going for. Like, you want to be Indiana Jones. Like, everyone has always wanted to be Indiana Jones. And I will say, which I'll get into probably maybe later in the presentation, but like being in the caverns and stuff in that first person is super cool, and the exploration is cool. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you start doing anything action oriented, it becomes sluggish, like fighting, stealth, or parkour. It's like, that's when it breaks down in terms of the first person. Also, they jump from first into a cutscene so much that it already breaks my immersion.
Yeah.
So like a lot of all of the cutscenes aren't in first person, and then there's a lot of cutscenes because it's a movie-esque game. Like, they wanted this to seem like an Indiana Jones movie. So I guess my point is, if you wanted it to seem like a movie, just have it in third person. Because every time I watched Indiana Jones, I've seen Indiana Jones. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if that's the feeling you're trying to invoke, just have it in third person. Like, they even had like an option for you to put it in the cinematic view where it has like the top and bottom cut off.
Yeah. Like a widescreen,
whatever the ratio is. I don't know. So I don't know. That's kind of my gripes with the gameplay. What I will say is I like the knockout animation stuff. I think that was super cool. So anything that's like, I think this is a theme. Anything that's scripted in this game is super cool. Mm-hmm. Anything that's free flowing, janky.
Feels underbaked.
I wouldn't say underbaked. I would say it's clunky. This is how I felt.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it could have used more polish.
Yeah, more
been,
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, exploring the dungeons was like my favorite part by far. That's when I felt immersed.
Which is crazy whenever you're not the puzzle guy.
Dude, so totally opposite, because I'm always like pro first person, I just want to live in this. Like, I love Cyberpunk for that reason, where it's just like, I am just in Night City, right? Yep. But for this, it was just different. I was like, I loved the first person when I was in the dungeon and I had a torch and I'm like going through webs and evading traps and doing the puzzle. And it's like, that was my favorite part, which is super weird. And I'm not a puzzle guy, but the puzzles are fun. I thought the puzzles were really cool.
Good. Yeah. Like,
they weren't too hard.
Yep.
Like, even a dumb brain like me figured them out. Like, I didn't use a lot of the hints.
Yeah.
I like kind of figured it out, and it felt very rewarding because I wasn't sitting there for like an hour. It was like a couple minutes maybe. Like, some of them were harder than others, but felt super good.
Yeah, I think the puzzles were good. I didn't necessarily, like, there were a couple that I solved, but I still didn't quite understand what I solved. It was kind of like a brute force thing, whereas like...
I think a good example was that one game with the two, you're like turning the pegs or something.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think the answer was you had to turn them in all the same direction or something. But
there was one. There's like a cipher that you have to go and find and do and
on the ship.
Yeah,
that one made sense.
See, and I didn't. I knew what I had to do.
Yeah,
and I did the thing.
So,
but I don't know why it worked.
You set the word code to this particular numbers, and then when you bring it down, it tells you what word it is or something. And then you use that word to figure out the number combination.
And I must have missed something, but like I knew what I knew the word I needed. I knew everything. Yeah. So it's like it was kind of this like mixed bag where like I agree with you. If I'm in a tunnel, if I'm going through, and I'm like, oh, and you know, Indy's talking, kind of monologuing in his head of like, oh, it's this thing and this thing, whatever. Like, that was all super cool, and I liked that a lot. And it was just like. I know we were talking, and you didn't seem super up on the whole like very tactile like. Put the key in the lock and then turn it to...
Hate that.
I actually... So normally I'm with you. It's like, oh, you're just taking a bunch of extra time to do this thing. But whenever it was like no necessarily threat of like all the fascists coming to punch you in the back of the head, and you're literally just exploring and being like very immersed in like, okay, I'm going to turn the key. Okay, I'm going to press this thing in and turn it. For whatever reason, I actually dug that. I actually liked it.
So I think the key stuff is a little different when you're like opening a vault. I didn't mind that as much. I hated like, okay, here's a picture. Got to put the picture down.
Yes.
Got to put the other picture down. I have to click on every single picture. I got to like.
I agree with you
Just
there.
start the cutscene and have him put the fucking thing on the table. Like, I don't need to do that. I was like joking with you. It's like, all right, press X to pull out your dick and take a pee. Indy, it's like, why do I have to do this?
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that
it's
part
like,
I agree.
That's too much.
The actual like solving the puzzles or the tactility of moving certain objects to where they need to be, or putting a stake in while like the symbols are rotating and pulling it out at a certain time.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even the doors is like, I don't know.
It is tough, though, when it's like, okay, the movement is a little rough.
Yeah.
He climbs very slow because it's realistic.
Yeah.
That's probably how fast Harrison Ford will climb, but not great in a video game.
I would have liked, and I compared it to like a Mirror's Edge. Not that fast, but like just a little bit more
smoother.
fluid.
Yeah.
Like just from one thing to another when you're doing the platforming stuff. It's just like, so I dreaded having to climb anything on the whip because it just took forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe that's just a personal thing that I didn't like about it, but...
So the movement was rough. The sneaking around was not super great, and they punish you pretty severely if you shoot, like you shoot your gun, the entire camp's coming at you. So it's just like
exclamation points everywhere.
Which is again, they are very, very in line with what Indiana Jones is. Mm-hmm. But boy, does it make me wonder. It's like, is this fun? From all the different mechanics that they're doing, it's like, yeah, there are some cool animations, but when you stick a guitar through someone's legs and then beat them over the head with it, time 100, it ain't like Warhammer where it's like, that's cool every time. It's like, okay, this is, especially when it's like the same animation.
I kind of got some variety, so I didn't.
Depending on,
I don't know. I think maybe I high rolled a little bit more.
Maybe.
But I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to this in the sound design, but I think the sound design helps with that a little bit for me.
Sure. Yeah.
So anything else on gameplay?
No, I think that's it.
So I have story and characters.
Sure.
I wanted to start with this. Indy's the GOAT. Like, the guy is super cool character.
Yeah.
Like, he's so iconic for a reason, and they capture him in this game perfectly, I would say. So, and it ties into the performance. I think Troy Baker did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Like, almost too good.
Yep.
Like, it was crazy. So I just put that right out in the open. I think they portrayed Indy exactly like the movies, exactly like he is. And the dialogue is a huge part of that too. Like, it felt like I was watching an Indiana Jones movie. Like, the one-liners, the retorts, the jokes.
Figure wag.
Exactly. It's like, you can almost predict what he's going to say because it's like, this is what Indy would say, and then he says it,
Yeah.
So I thought that was a masterclass. Probably some of the strongest parts of this game is just respecting the source, honoring that, and really showcasing it in the video game. So, like, I thought Indy was great. I thought the villain was really good too.
Yeah.
Like, I think the chick was good too in terms of like the dialogue and stuff. I thought it was just really well written game. Like, it felt like this could have been a movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was very like, yep, this is an Indiana Jones movie. Like, it's this was all about like, well, I don't want to spoil things. So like, yes, the biblical ties, the historic ties, like the stuff that they're going with.
It was really within the realm of what makes
like,
Indiana Jones great.
Like all the other movies where it's like there's a hint of the supernatural, a hint of the, mythological, like it was really well done, yeah.
I think this narrative is on par, if not better, than most of the movies.
Yeah, I think definitely better than, honestly, probably better than the last two. I think this actually felt a little bit like the Dial of Destiny. Like
I didn't see that. Yeah, okay.
It's right. Like, okay, there is some by the number. Now, the Dial of Destiny is like, it's old indie, so like they had that to play with.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, if you kind of just took Dial of Destiny and made it like young Indiana Jones, I feel like there's kind of like, as good as it is very paint by the numbers, like kind of, okay, you keep going here. Oh, they were thwarted. Oh no, the bad guy seems like he's winning. Oh, they come around. It's like every movie ever made, but it's like a good ride.
But that's always been Indiana Jones.
No, my thing is
right down the middle.
It's a very good one of those.
Yes.
But it doesn't. It's not like, don't expect them to do anything like different or whatever. Which, depending on what you want, could be a great thing.
I think that was the play.
Yeah,
play it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say safe. I just think respecting the property. Really.
Well, I guess my thing is like Tomb Raider. Right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's hard not to compare and contrast the two, because I personally think this would have been a great Crystal Dynamics game in the third person. But Tomb Raider, they reinvented it. It was like, okay, hey, here's Tomb Raider. She's not getting her pistol. She's not doing this thing. And they took chances. You're not getting this with Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is very much like, nope, this is what you want. Here you go.
Yeah, but you're going from video game to video game with Tomb Raider, and you're going from movie to video game with this, which I think is definitely a different dynamic.
That's fair. Fair. Yeah.
I also want to mention, I love the locations that they had too.
Yeah.
I don't know if this, it probably falls into story. I know you weren't huge on the Vatican. That might have been my favorite section.
I wasn't, my thing
like
with
location,
the Vatican,
at least. I thought it maybe looked the best. And I thought it was really, my mom went to the Vatican a couple years ago, and she like showed me a bunch of pictures. So I'm very interested in that section.
I think the Vatican, because it's so big, because it's so dense, from a pacing standpoint, the story and everything, it's a very tough thing. And not that this necessarily goes back to gameplay, but like I was still wrestling with what this game was, because it did feel a lot different than what I was expecting, like Indiana Jones action game, and it's like that's maybe half of it, and then the rest is like walking around and looking for clues and doing the professor side of things, which is fine. It's just I was still wrestling with that and trying to correct my expectations in this massive city, when really I was like, I just want to see I didn't get enough of the indie part, like the action stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wasn't against the Vatican. It was just like there was so much to do and so many different things, and I didn't know like what could I actually accomplish and what did I have to come back for, or what did like it was a little weird there.
Yeah, that's fair. I liked all the locations though. I liked there was a wide variety of locations. They each had unique aspects that made them very cool.
Yeah.
So I was a big fan of that too. I thought we really got a nice collection of.
You had your city, you had your desert, you had your swamp, you had your
snow.
It was like they hit all the biomes. Like it was fine.
Honestly, the last place was by far my least favorite.
Was that the water one?
No, the camp, like the very end, like the camp.
Oh yeah,
or the mining operation.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, it was straightforward. It was the end of the game, so sure, but yeah.
I mean, I think. Talk about pacing. Like for story wise, like did we feel good about it? Was it like
I did just story, so I felt it was perfectly paced.
Yeah. Okay.
I just I didn't really do it. I did a couple side quests here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I don't know if you go all into the side quests. Maybe it feels you run into that issue of like, all right, we have the main problem. But let's do some of this quick.
Let's go get the world's for ending. the old nun.
Yeah, right. It's like but I didn't really do a lot of that. I did some of the ones that made sense or some of the ones I was interested in.
Yeah,
and so playing it that way, it made a lot of sense to me, and I think the pacing was really well. Because again, it was like I was just doing main story 99% of the time, and it felt like just the movie plot, which is exactly what I wanted. So that was good for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I started doing a lot of the side stuff early on.
Yeah,
and while some of the side stuff was actually kind of cool, and it had like the cutscenes, and it was as interesting, honestly, as the plot, there were plenty that were just kind of like, I didn't need to spend 3 hours running around trying to figure this stuff out, and it really didn't hit for me. So once I started kind of mainlining the story and really following where it just wanted me to go, then I agree with you. It was like, okay, this is pretty good. I think my only critique of that is some of the like relationships maybe didn't earn it as much. So like Indy in the main lady, like what was her name? I already forgot her name.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yikes. But she's like a totally new character, right? She's not in any of the movies.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they at the end they're like, I guess a little spoiler. They're like, "Am I going to see you again or something?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, sure." It's like No, you never saw it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, let's make out.
Like, I was wondering, like, is she like a reference in one of the movies or something? Or like,
I don't know, man.
I'm not a huge, lore.
Or maybe she's like a main character that I just don't remember. But
I don't think so. I was trying to look it up.
It didn't really pay off. So they're like making out at the end of the movie. As
that
Indy
was
does.
a little, I don't know.
I think that if more side quests were done and interacted with her more, then I could see that being a thing.
I tried to do, if I were to do any of the side quests, it was the ones that she was directly involved in.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit more payoff there maybe, but
yeah,
the end was kind of weird when it's like, all right, see ya.
Pretty
just kidding. Just to make it out like, wait, what just happened?
Pretty straightforward story. Like, did you feel like you were surprised at all on stuff, or was it pretty like, this is what's gonna happen?
It was
like,
shock, and I taught you that term.
Yeah,
it was right down the middle, Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
which I was like, I think this is good.
Yeah,
so I wasn't like surprised, but I was satisfied.
It's a good and Machine Games does this. It's a good story.
Yes,
it's really well done, and I think that on one hand, it's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, coming from Wolfenstein 2. Where that
you're a big Wolfenstein
still
guy.
Is like the wildest campaign that I just freaking loved.
Yeah.
Again, not big on the gameplay, but like the story was amazing. That I was hoping that they maybe would kind of like lean a little bit more into their like, wait, what just happened? And
it's risky with Indiana Jones though.
Yeah.
You have a beloved property like that. So I think they did the right move.
100% they did. 100% they did.
Yeah.
I don't want to knock them too much on that. It's just, I don't know. Machine Games does a really good story. It's just the gameplay's not there.
So sound design, I thought the soundtrack was great, and I think it really captures the essence of the movies. I think a lot of these games recently that come from other properties are doing a really good job of mirroring, what the music is like in that.
And not just like matching the music, but like when the music swells, when it comes in, how it's incorporated, it has been a lot better too. Like you're not just throwing in Indiana Jones theme song.
Well, they did this really interesting thing where they kind of throughout the game were teasing the main theme, right?
Yeah.
And you're waiting for that moment, like when is Raiders just gonna play? And as this is kind of a spoiler, I guess, but it's not until the credits that Raiders plays, like in full. And I was like kind of tearing up a little bit because I'm a huge John Williams stan, but dude, it was kind of awesome. The plane's flying out, the credits are rolling, and
which could literally be like playing. That's just a scene ripped from every movie.
I was like they copied this, right? Like in the beginning, and it's like I don't think so, but perfect.
Yep.
It was. I really left on a good note. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And John Williams is the GOAT, so it's like. That was really cool how they did that. They were always toting the line. They would give you a little excerpt from it here and there.
Yeah.
But never committing, right? When he would do something very Indiana Jones, they would give you a little peek.
Yeah.
But they saved it for the end.
Speaking of sound effects and stuff too, like how do you feel about the whoosh, like punches and things like that?
Yeah, so I thought it was great because it was like very movie-esque, movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Sound design-esque, especially like the originals where it's a little older, right? And they're using those kind of sound effects. So I thought it really, again, made me feel like I was watching an Indiana Jones movie, which is, to my initial point, why I think this should have been in third person, because I think it should have been like, I'm like watching a movie but kind of playing it.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And again, like you said, the people who are developing it has a big reason to play with that. But there's like a lot of orchestral hits during the action pieces, right? Like when he's knocking someone out or when something falls and he almost falls off an edge and there's these quick hits. And I think that was really well done. That's a common tactic within movie music and sound effects. So I thought I think it was really... It felt like a film score to me. It felt very much like a film score, which I think was what they were going for, and I think they pulled it off very well.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, you're the music guy. I trust your judgment too, but no, for me, it was nothing was like really like It was well integrated and nothing felt out of place, I guess is the best thing I can say about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was accentuating what was happening on screen, which again is what a film score is supposed to do as well. And I think, and the timing of it was very well done as well. Like more subtle notes when you're in the gameplay and things are happening. And then it's more in the forefront in maybe a cutscene or a big moment after something has been revealed or, whatever the case may be. So. Presentation. This is an interesting one.
Yeah,
so
we got a lot on presentation.
We've been talking about this a little bit. I will start with this. When everything's working, this game is beautiful. When I first started it, that first kind of prologue where you're in the first movie was like 1-to-1. It was super cool. I was like, wow, this is like, you start seeing where games are going, in terms of like what's capable. Like the lighting was really great. I thought it just looked fantastic. The character models look great. Especially in the cutscenes. So again, I think this game is at its absolute strongest when it's a scripted cutscene, which is just pretty much a movie. Yeah. So it's like, this could have just been a movie, you know? But if it was just like one big cutscene, it would have been like probably way more expensive. But so when everything's working good, it is very gorgeous game. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes to like the setting too. I think the lighting is very well done. Like this, you have to have ray tracing. It's like one of the, maybe the first game they were saying, one of the first games that has integrated ray tracing in it, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I will say it performed very well. I never ran into frame issues ever. So,
see, mine, I felt stuttering a lot.
Okay, yes. So I will put a caveat: the stuttering specifically for loading. So in some places it hurts you more than others, like the Vatican, where there's a lot of loading or saving, like autosaves. It will stutter, but outside of that, I didn't run into frame issues at all.
Yeah, mine was just very jittery.
Oh, really?
It did not, like, it was saying like, oh, you're going 90 frames a second. I'm like, no, I know what 90 looks like, and it was just not. It was not smooth. It felt rough to me. It was also doing this one thing, and I found out that was a bug. But like, if I would turn the whole camera, because they had this like weird locomotion thing to make it like immersive. So as you turn, the camera kind of like moves as like your head would move or whatever. But it was like extremely exaggerated. And when I started playing the game first, and I did it, and I just didn't notice it, and I came back to it, I'm like, I feel like I would have noticed this in moving around, and then I reset the game, and it's like, oh no, it's back to normal and stuff. So like, they're just like these little bugs that just kept cropping up for my game that I just distracting, I guess, is the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah. I ran into some visual stuff too. I mean, I talked about this before, but for some reason, some of my textures just wouldn't load, I guess, or something. Like they were just super low res. So there was a lot of problem solving I had to do. And I think I eventually ended up on DLAA.
That's what you're saying, yeah.
Which the only reason I thought to do that is because I saw when Digital Foundry was doing their video, they actually, when they were showcasing like the 3080, they had it on DLAA.
Interesting.
I was like, okay. Now, DLAA is supposed to up-res, I think, background quality more. So it's actually not to boost performance. It's more for quality specifically, which is what I was dealing with. So it kind of makes sense that was working. But there were a couple moments where things just broke. There was like one dungeon where like the screen just like went black and things just died. And then one part in Egypt as well, where I'm like in a market and like there's like screen, like visible pixelation and tearing on my screen. It was like like there was like a wormhole. Yeah, it was bad. Like so it was Crystal Skull, like real quick.
You're having issues with visual fidelity. I'm having issues with like just performance.
Yeah, it was super strange that we have the opposite effect because I never dipped under like 80.
Yeah.
Frames, and it was pretty smooth for me.
Yeah,
no, the reason for that is because
I was at 80 or 90, and it just didn't. didn't feel that way.
The reason is the Great Pyramid of Giza looked like a pixel. Like that's why I was running so well. But when I was in the dungeons, dude, and there wasn't any like draw distance, looked great.
Sure,
it looked very good. So I'm like very back and forth on this. Like I wanted to just. It was so disappointing because like when you get to Egypt, you have this moment where you're on this hill and you like look out into Egypt, and it's like whoa. It's like every area has like a title card where you're at.
Yeah,
and that's like a big view. It's like those were like one of my favorite parts because it's like, whoa, look where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like the Vatican was like the moonlight. It's like, welcome to the Vatican.
Did you have any issues with like characters like not animating, not like missions stopping? Because like I was texting you several times on like, not to really harp on this game, but like several times, kind of like almost like Spider-Man, like how I was like just complaining constantly and you're like, dude, I'm not seeing any of this.
Yeah.
But like there was one where like I would just spawn outside of a building that I was supposed to be in, and then when I went to the building I would just die and then respawn outside.
Yes.
Where I had to completely revert my save. There was one where I went back into a cave that I guess the game just didn't want me to go back into, just because I was exploring, and the way to get out of the cave was just bugged. Like I couldn't crawl under the area that I knew I was supposed to crawl under.
Yeah.
Another mission never triggered where whenever you're trying to find like the entrance to the underground pyramid or whatever, and she like dusts a stone or something, is like, oh, well, look, here's a path down. Dude, I went through that entire camp, took everyone out, was running around to everything, trying to find out how to get in there. And it just turns out that like it was a bug. She just didn't animate properly.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things when you're talking about presentation and performance and stuff that it's like, I got so frustrated at certain points where I'm like, I don't know if I'm just dumb and not getting the puzzle or if it's like legit not working. And more often than not, something bugged out. And as soon as I restarted, I got it like within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that really kind of took it out of me. Along with like when we were talking about sound, where you have to play the game when you're saying it's firing on all cylinders. You have to play the game at the game's pace. You have to play it like a movie. If you run past somebody and you run too far ahead, they're still talking.
Yep.
And you're yelling like you're talking to them.
Yep.
And you have no concept of what exchanges happened or anything like that.
With that as well, I will just add, I had a lot of dialogue cut off because I went too fast.
Yep.
And I was like, I was interested in what she was saying.
Yep.
Yeah. So 100%, you have to crawl.
You have to stop and smell the roses and play the game like it's like the developers are like, it's almost like you have to play the game as if you are presenting it at E3 to like the masses. Like that's literally all I was thinking of. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna play this. Because
like,
it's like
nobody plays games like that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try to like cheat this on like, you know, like on time jumps and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna try to get past 2. It's like, nope, because I'm gonna die and it's gonna take forever to load and go back in there, and some of the save points are like, it was a slog at certain points for that kind of stuff. And then just kind of somewhat related, there were plenty of times where like, you know, especially in the ice, like the snow part, animations just like the cutscenes were not playing out correctly. So like I was talking and stuff, and then all of a sudden you heard like, oh no, and like the girl you're with just falls through the ice, but like almost not, she wasn't in a T pose, but it was like her model just had zero reaction, and you hear Indy like, oh, I gotcha, and then he just kind of like clips through the map too. And then it goes into the cutscene that's like kind of pre-rendered or whatever. And it's just like these weirdly like robotic things. And when you're talking about the presentation of like going from first person to third person, pulling the camera out and stuff like that, half the time, and when you're in third person and it's like you slide back into first person, you're just seeing him with this like dead face, and he's just staring out into nothing as the camera like swings back around and goes into him, where he's almost this like robotic animatronic thing. And it just it needed more polish, and it wasn't like I guess as seamless as, say, something like God of War, where it's like, oh, here's one camera shot and it's all, you know, like very, very like deliberate and thought out. It's like, no, here's the cutscene and now here's the gameplay. And it was very choppy. I think,
it was very took me off guard, I guess. Yeah. I'm looking for a specific word. I can't think of it right now.
Last thing, because I am a UI guy. How did you feel about the map and the different things? Did you like having to like look down
I
at
told
the map
I kind of liked that. I did put on the wave points though. I think that is the correct play. But I think it's really cool when the menu is like his journal and you're flipping through pages and everything's like kind of realistic. Like there's no pause. It's like, I like that personally. I think that's cool. Because if you're going for the immersive, that's the way to do it.
I just didn't like having to like literally move the mouse down to move your head down to look at the map.
Yeah, if you press the map button, it should just click to the map. But they do that because they want you to continue to be able to walk around. So you're like walking around like this. But why not just have it like this?
Yeah, just like
bring it up to your face.
Up, and then I can see where I'm going real quick.
And then I can put it down. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Nobody reads a map just looking at
that. That was just
floor.
a really that was my big pet peeve. Yeah. And then from a presentation standpoint, I think it's super cool that when you're loading up the game, you're literally seeing the screen that you're going to load into, and you just see Indiana Jones just kind of animated, like just waiting there.
Yeah.
And when you hit continue, it like zooms into
super
him.
Cool.
That's really neat. Every game should do that.
Agreed. That is very cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't have as many problems as you. I'll just quickly kind of go through this to rebuttal, I guess, a little bit against. I mean, not even rebuttal because that was your experience, but I didn't have those kind of issues. I really didn't have any game-breaking bugs where I had to reload anything,
which is great. Yeah.
All the cutscenes worked perfectly for me, so I was really looking for, especially in the snow section, like for that. So I think that was just a bug that happened for you because. Everything was great for me.
Well, you know when they finally get to the plane or whatever and they fall through, or not the plane, the ship.
Yeah.
That right there, they were just like mannequins. It was so weird.
I didn't experience that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's very strange. Again, I think the cutscenes are the best part of this game. Every time there's a cutscene, I was like excited. I was like, this is Indiana. I'm watching a movie, right? But in the game, so you have like all these like very detailed animations in the cutscenes. Everyone's expressive. Everything's going on. It's super exciting. And then you get back to the gameplay, and I swear to God, it is Skyrim NPC levels. You have people, especially your companion, she's like talking to you and then tries to walk somewhere else, and her head's like turned like the classic Skyrim thing. And it's like super weird and like... This is not how human anatomy works at all. They're not expressive at all. They're just kind of like super, like, especially when she's following you around, dude. I don't know how to like articulate this correctly, but it's like it's from Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's super dated and doesn't look like a person, I guess. It takes me out of it. It really does.
It's compounded because there are certain parts of the game where she has a role to play when you're in a certain dungeon or you have to pass something to her.
You have to wait for her to do like an awkward like run, arms down, head swiveling like an owl.
Yeah.
It's...
And like you already know what to do, so like you give her the thing and run, and then you just got to sit there while like it's flooding or fire or
it's
spikes
not
or
polished at all when it comes to specifically your companions. I think the world NPCs are a little better because they kind of have their own routes and things that they're doing. But
if you play it like a video game or like you're quickly doing something, it breaks the game, I think.
Yeah.
It breaks the immersion.
And at that point, it's like, okay, well, if you have something important to say or something important to do, lock it into not a cutscene, but like a scripted event.
Yeah.
Right? Like a Call of Duty-esque like scripted event.
Yep.
I think Call of Duty does that great when it's like, okay, we have a vision for what we're trying to do. Let's say we're trying to breach a specific thing and then we want Captain Price to jump out and get you. Like when you're trying to have him escape from the gulag or whatever. That's all scripted. You can't fuck it up because they have a vision for it and they want it to go a certain way. So like, anything that important, you should put it on rails. It's going to pay off way more.
My rebuttal to that is whenever I lost the 2 hours or whatever, whenever I had to not just reset the save, but like go back to like a previous checkpoint to redo it. And you're trying to get through stuff, but you can't because, I already know what happens. I'm just going to go past this. I can't because she's standing in the doorway talking and I can't get around her. Or you can't even... skip cutscenes.
Yeah.
So I skipped the first cutscene.
Yeah.
And because I did that, all the other cutscenes played out. So like whenever you first met the villain and like he shot Hitler and it was like that whole scene where he like
in Egypt. Yeah.
I had to do that twice. Couldn't.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but you can't skip it.
It's a cool cutscene.
It's a cool cutscene, but I just watched it.
Well, watch it again, man.
I did.
Stop complaining.
Yeah.
No, that's brutal. But again, I think if you had more on rail scripted moments, like for example, I remember the one shootout in the house in Guam. I think you maybe went out the front door when you're supposed to sneak out the back or something. I don't know, but that's where you got caught in the loop, I think.
No, I went out the back. And I died. And then it put me out in the front where you start that level.
No.
So I go in the back and whatever, like I was laying down and the bullets were still hitting me. I'm like, they're finding you. Yeah, it's very realistic because they were just shredding this thing.
Yeah, true.
But you go in the back and you're like finding keys, right?
Yeah.
So I was finding these keys and you're supposed to open up like a cellar or whatever.
Yeah.
Found
that
the
was
key.
so dumb, by the way. Who has that many keys?
I don't know.
There was like 1,000 keys.
Yeah, I think it's just like a developer like laughing at you type of thing.
Yeah.
But like I died there, and that's when it kicked me out of the house, and I just kept walking back to the house. No one was there. Like no one was in front of the house.
I saw
it. Was like
you sent me the video.
Yeah.
And
it's just like you're dead.
Well,
Respawn.
I don't know. That sucks. I think. Yeah. I think when it works, it's really well, but there's a lot of things that didn't work, especially for you. I think you had a way worse experience than me. Mine was more or less pretty smooth.
Yeah.
In some instances. Like nothing game breaking for me.
If you play the game exactly how it's meant to be played, then you're probably fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I did, though. I mean, I had a lot of dialogue cut off. The NPC thing was just not good.
Yeah.
It really took me out of it.
Here's a quick question, and maybe mileage may vary on this too.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself finding alternate routes after you got past something?
No.
So for me, my biggest issue, and this is maybe just, again, how I'm playing the game, is I would get through guys and knock them out or do whatever, and I get to like a room that I had to be in or something. And then on my way back, I'm like, oh, I could have gone up this ladder here and done this. Oh, I could have done this. Oh, I could have done that.
I was pretty good at finding the alternate routes.
Yeah.
Because I would always look for something first.
I would look for it, and I just never, either it just wasn't readily apparent. I'm not saying I need everything like spray painted yellow on ledges and stuff you can do, but like either it wasn't readily available or apparent, or I just was very dense. I'm usually good at that stuff, but like from a level design standpoint, I felt that it was only obvious after I already did the thing I needed to do, and then it was kind of worthless, and then I got kind of annoyed at it. Where if you look at games like Splinter Cell and Dishonored and things like, I felt like those flowed better, were designed in a more like not.
Dude, even Cyberpunk, man, when you're doing those like missions where you have to take out a warehouse, it's like very clear, like, okay, I can go through the window, I could bust through the front door, there's a secret cellar if you explore a little, you know?
Yeah.
Or like Far Cry. I remember Far Cry 4 did this great. Every compound, it was like, I feel like you could tackle this from a multitude of ways, which I love that style of gameplay where it's like,
Indie just didn't.
Yeah, it's very much more limited. I mean, like, if there were options, it was like very, I don't know, it was very linear still, where it's like, okay, I can either go up this ladder and sneak past everyone, or I can go right.
And I didn't want to experiment, because it's like, I think I could maybe get to that ledge, but I also don't want to try, because if I miss it, I'm just gonna die, and then I'll restart. And I'm like, I don't want to bother, because I know I could just go through and knock this guy out and just keep moving.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was just something that kind of I thought as I was playing. I'm like, this seems weird.
Yeah,
and like,
fair.
Here my last thing is, no game should be like, oh, you want to grab onto a ledge? Just kind of slowly back off backwards, and you'll grab it.
Yep.
What?
The one time they don't put an input to do something, it's like. It's dropping off a ledge.
It's terrible.
That is crazy. I felt the pit in my stomach drop every time I did it.
Every single time.
I just jumped down. I just took the damage. I don't care.
Yeah,
I just eat a baguette.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not dealing with this, dude. I agree. That was not the best.
Anyway,
right. So what are you thinking overall? We had a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think from a story and properties perspective, I think this game is awesome. I think if you like Indiana Jones, you'll probably like this game. I think from what I'm looking for, and as a gameplay connoisseur, right, like of what I want, like, man, this did not do it for me. I think there were some cool puzzles. I enjoyed that, but it wasn't enough to keep me like, oh, I can't wait to go down and play indie type of thing. So I don't know. I think it's good. I would probably put it for me between like a 76, 78 is where I'm thinking, because I think it's a well done, like lots of things are well done, but also it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
interesting. So that's much lower than the audience.
Where is it on a
87.
87, yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I am also lower than the overall kind of score that everyone's on. Not as low as you, because I really, again, did enjoy the story. The characters are super well done. The dialogue is great. The aesthetic of them having this property, I think they just did incredibly well.
Yeah.
And I loved watching the cutscenes. Every time I was watching the cutscenes, I was a happy camper. So, and then again, some of the gameplay stuff I wasn't a huge fan of. I think it was a little clunky in a lot of the areas, but when you were dungeon diving in the tombs, I think that was actually pretty good. And I had a pretty good experience with that kind of stuff. So not all the gameplay was bad. So I have it at an 82.
Ooh,
I think it's a solid silver. Again, your mileage may vary depending on how big of an Indiana Jones fan you are. I think it's when it comes to movie games, this is pretty solid. So I think a silver solid rating is...
I think it definitely deserves to be a silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, anyone who doesn't know our scale, you can... couchcompany.games, you can check it out. We have our breakdown. So it's a 100-point scale, but essentially there's different tiers as well. So it's kind of best of both worlds. So you have it at what, a 76, and I have it at like an 82. So I would do like a 79, 80.
Yeah, I could come up a little bit and go 79, 80. I was going back to last year just seeing like around what type of games I had around like an 82. For instance, like we put Black Ops 6 as an 82.
Yeah.
So I think
that's fair.
Yeah. I think
Black Ops was fun. And there were some problems with Black Ops.
I would maybe put it around an 80. I could feel good about an 80 if you feel strongly.
I'm good with
70s.
Either an 80 or 79.
Yeah.
I mean, again, your experience was so much worse than mine. I wouldn't even finish the game if I had to do what you had to do.
Well, I know, but we're trying to review stuff. Let's put it in 80, and I think the reason why I think it's out of the 70s, I'm actually going to put all of that on Troy Baker and say that I did not think that you could make a convincing Harrison Ford, and he kind of crushed it. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
that is a incredible voice performance. Yeah,
because like in all honesty, I had more fun playing Warhammer. I had more fun playing Helldivers.
Interesting.
That's around where we are on those type of games for those. So
I much preferred the story to this than Warhammer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I was like
story and everything is
bored
great
with Warhammer.
Yeah.
The only thing I was excited for Warhammer is like destroying people.
Yeah.
But that's like a very small hit of dopamine.
Gameplay goes a long, long way for me.
Yeah,
I know your story characters and stuff. So it's like,
which is to be expected. Why maybe we put those scores where they are.
Yeah. Let's do 80.
Well, we combine it.
Let's do 80. Yeah. Okay. You bring me up, I kind of push you down. That's how that works.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I think that's all we have, right?
Yeah.
So that's our first review of 2025. Exciting. I know the game came out in 2024, but I think we're kind of going by the Game Awards schedule because this will count towards 2025. Is that right?
It will. Technically, on our database, it's still we put it to when it comes out, so it's still going to be in 2024. But
is it going to be eligible for our Game of the Year?
Yeah, if we want it to be.
It wasn't last year, which is why I think it should be.
Yeah,
it should have a chance.
I think if we both played it, like I finished it. I think I finished it last year or early this year. But
I've definitely finished it this year.
So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's eligible.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, we appreciate you. Check us out, as I mentioned, couchcompany.games. You'll see our Indiana Jones review, first one for 2025. All of our other reviews, as well as our top 5s, and all our episodes, and everything in between. So we appreciate you. We're going to see you on the couch. Same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us. Peace.